Hello, my Teaserking friends and family. Can you hear me? Having difficulty for some reason with the microphone. It is on. It seems to be working. Maybe I'm farther away, but everything's pretty much the same. Can you hear me now? It's working now? Okay, I don't know why. I don't really touch the settings, right? There's a mic. I can see it's on. It's a white mic, and I don't touch it. So, and I don't know how to pause. Like if I go get a coffee, I don't know how to pause it because it's live. So it is what it is. But thank you for informing me. So let's go through the results. So I hit my big 35 unit lock. I was very happy for everybody who bought it. Alabama -4 with San Diego +9. Sometimes I won't give the whole lock as my free picks because it offends the people who bought the lock. But you don't know it's a lock when I give as a free one. But I did want you guys to win, so I gave San Diego. They're such a strong dog. The Lions are a weak favorite. San Diego doesn't really have that good of a defense, so it was probably a lock over also, as they scored 79 points. But that was the big lock, 35 unit. The 31 unit lock was Oklahoma over with Oklahoma State, so I won the Oklahoma over part of it. The pro lock yesterday, obviously, with San Diego was Baltimore under, which I don't know where that came from, with the Jets under. So the Jets under won. So I go 4-2 in my locks. Oklahoma State, maybe they were flat from the Oklahoma game. They've been very hot the last 4 or 5 games. And then the expected outcome, Baltimore-Cleveland, is not a lot of points, right? I mean, but I got 2 pieces in the game, which kill your unders. So Lamar, everybody loves Lamar, and he cost him the game with another pick 6 yesterday. So I don't know what to say about him. But you know what I think about him? This is why I don't like him, because he loses you money. So you bet Baltimore even, and he gives you a pick 6 and you lose the game. He costs you money. That's why I don't like him. He's not a very good quarterback, but okay. All right, so let's go through the results first. Then we'll go into next week. So if you look at my picks, well, we already talked about the MAC. Thursday, SMU, North Texas, 2 explosive teams. Stone looks pretty good for SMU. He does play. He's questionable. He plays. Over under 65. I go over. It ends 45-21 at 66. So it does get that. SMU's got a very good defense. Did hold North Texas at 21, which is good. SMU puts up a 45 on a 37 defense. So what I'm doing is testing, are they what they say they are? And that's where you get screwed up, is the team Cleveland, Baltimore. Where did that come from, right? I didn't think nobody could. The Lions play Baltimore and can't score, and here Cleveland puts up 33 on them. Everybody says how great the Lions. This is why I question the Lions. Everybody says how great they are, but as soon as they play a good team, they don't show up. Yesterday was exactly the way I thought. It'd be a close game and high scoring. Had San Diego been a 3-point favorite, I probably would have went over. But San Diego's a great dog. All right. Kansas, Texas Tech, I lose. The quarterback for Kansas gets hurt in the first quarter. Ends up being a 16-13 game. So it stays under. I think think I have Kansas plus 2.5. They lose by 3. Okay. Or I might have had it over. I got to check my pick. Maryland, Nebraska. Nebraska is an under team, and it plays 13-10. So Nebraska, low-scoring teams. And I can hear you guys catching on, like LSU's an over team, Missouri's an over team, and that USC's an over team. So once you can identify the team and know what they are, it's a lot easier to bet it. So now you're looking for 2 over teams to play, like Cal. Cal's an over team. They're a hidden over team because you really don't think of Cal as an over team. But if you watch what they're doing, 100-point game with Oregon State, 100-point game with USC. This was a 42-39 with Washington State. This was an 81-point game. And what I love is the over-under was 59 in this game. That's the key you're looking for. You got you got these over-explosive teams, and the over-unders in the 50s versus USC was in the 70s. Well, why play the 70s, which didn't get there, versus the 50s? So if you can find that over teams playing, and it's a 58 because Vegas hasn't adjusted to Cal getting good. So they're looking at the whole macro picture of Cal for the whole year, and I'm looking at the last 4 or 5 weeks going, wait a minute. They put up, they're starting to put up a lot of points. Look at the Oregon State game. Look at the USC game. Look at this Washington State game. And now you start realizing, they're scoring. They're an over team. And that's really what you're trying to see and learn as the season goes. They switch. The new coach comes in. Now they're getting used to it. The new quarterback's transferred in. Now he's getting more comfortable. Michigan and Penn State. I thought about Penn State as a home dog. 2 A teams playing. Michigan wins 24-15. Needed a late touchdown to cover. I went under 44, or 45. So I'm under 51. And obviously it's a 39. So I win it. What made me go over versus under or versus taking Michigan? We don't know who Michigan is 10 weeks into the year. We finally see them. They're still not that impressive. I'd still rather take Georgia or Oregon is much better than Michigan. They go to Penn State. They do play well. Good defense. Penn State, as I say, when we go through injuries, they have like 6 receivers out. So they don't have any receivers. This is when it shows. So they can beat Maryland kind of running the ball and defense. But when you get up against the Michigan and Ohio State and you need the receivers, you can't get them. So from that standpoint, it was Michigan on the road, Penn State, home dog, big game. Normally you take the dog. The dog's good here. You would have had 11.5. They win by 9. All right. But knowing Michigan's defense and Penn State has a good defense, this is a 7 defense and a 12 defense. I did think that this would stay low scoring. Where I've been skewed is like Oregon, Washington. They both have good defenses, and they played a 69-point game. And that's where you scratch your head going, wait, what happened? This is why you always analyze the wins and the losses. I happen to have Oregon in 9, and I had Oklahoma in 12, and they won. I tempted the under, but they didn't. They went over, even though they had good defenses. So when you have these really strong offenses, apparently it used to be like Georgia can stop them, but usually the good defense, then it tells you that the defenses really aren't that good. And then you see Oklahoma give up a bunch of points to Kansas, and now Oak State put up 27 on them, and then here Oklahoma, West Virginia puts up 20 on them. So it becomes – they're really, it says here they're a 20 defense, but they're probably not. You probably have to micro it and just go into the conference. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my homework. That's my homework for you guys this week is probably later today or tomorrow, we'll dig into the conference. I'll do it. I won't bore you guys doing it here. I'll do it. Well, I get up, go swimming, and do this. So I'm going to do it after. So it's basically just look at the conference. And then this includes the MAC, the Sun Belt, because it's how can you look at Bowling Green play Michigan and they lose 42-0? How in the world? Well, betting against the Giants, that's also, we look for the weak teams. Betting against Carolina, that's why we look for the weak teams and we look for the strong teams. That's why I say Z teams, because the Z teams we want to bet against, just like the Giants. So that's the point of that. So we'll go through that in a minute. Alabama have over Kentucky. Kentucky, I realized their defense, because I did the micro look, is really a 30. And Alabama, we know how strong their defense is because we see them all the time. So that was an easy lock. Again, I had that in 2 teasers. I had San Diego in 3 teasers. So it's hard to really explain how I'm doing because of that fact. The concept is when you find the lock, Alabama -4 to Kentucky is going to kill them. They won 49-21 because Kentucky's defense is a 30. Alabama's going to eat up a 30 defense. And so I know they're going to win. 35-unit lock. I find San Diego home dog to the Lions, not to Kansas City or Philadelphia. And so I take that. That's why it was 35 units. The other one was 31 units, Oklahoma over after 2 losses. And then I told you Oklahoma with San Francisco, because Frisco lost 3 games, was not going to lose 4. They killed Jacksonville. I was so happy. I hate Jacksonville for some reason. I just don't like Trevor Lawrence. And it's just he's not there's nothing attractive about Jacksonville. And they have such a weak schedule. And then San Francisco pounded them. And I love that. So, again, lock, 2 teasers. That's what you're looking for, is that good team who's lost a few games, who's going to be pissed off, because nobody can beat the good team when they're pissed off. You can beat, these other teams that get pissed off of a loss. It really doesn't matter. They can't do anything. Right? Lou Monroe after a loss isn't going to do anything. Well, they'd be going to the Super Bowl with Rodgers with this defense. But I'm surprised Zach Wilson is this bad. I didn't think he was. That last pick was he just telegraphed it. He just looked at the guy, and the linebacker safety just went over, and he threw it right. He looked at him and threw it. See, that's the problem with these young quarterbacks. That's why I get on Tagovailoa and a lot of these quarterbacks. They just zero in on the receiver, and it's easy to pick, and they're just not money quarterbacks. It's the good quarterback who can look this way and then throw that way. Then the safeties, he's looking, drawing the safety. You do it to draw the safety over. Then he can make the throw, and then you'll be fine. But that's the problem with a lot of these quarterbacks. So when I get after Lamar, or I get after Vince Young, or a lot of these guys, is because they don't know what they're doing. They all have good arms. I get that. Are you going to win with them? Do they know what they're doing? And they don't. Especially look at Mac Jones. He doesn't know what he's doing. I heard Zappy came in and lit it up pretty good. But Mac Jones doesn't know what he's doing. None of these Alabama know what they're doing because they're not coached that way. They run this 5 wide and real fast receivers, and these guys are wide open, and they're looking right at them, and they throw it to them. And they get into the pros, and it doesn't work. Same thing with the Ohio State guys. Look at Fields. Stroud's a little bit different, but we'll see. Alex goes to me, look at Stroud outplayed Burrow, and I go, well, did Vince Young outplay Stroud when Carolina beat Houston? I mean, if you're a good quarterback, you don't go into Carolina and lose. They stink. Stroud's okay, but we got to see him. All right, he beat Cincinnati. Okay. Good win. But how the hell do you lose to Houston? Or how do you lose to Carolina? And Stroud, to me, all he's doing, it's all bullshit. It's all luck. He's running around, and then the guy breaks open. It's all like playground football. Bill Walsh would tell Joe Montana, take 4 steps back, and the receiver will be open, and throw it to him. Because it's timing. Like the receiver Jerry Rice would have to go up and then over, and then it would clear out. So you needed like 3 seconds. So Montana would go back like 3 seconds, and then Rice would be breaking open. You don't see Stroud. Stroud's not going back and throwing. He's going back. He's rolling out. He's running around. And then somebody gets open downfield and he's hitting them. I don't consider that a real good quarterback. It's all high school. It's all playground. And it won't work. And the better the defenses are, and the better they learn what you're doing, you're just rolling out. Believe me, they're going to bring a safety up, and he's going to just meet him right there. And now Stroud's got to throw from the pocket, and he won't be able to do it because Ohio State, it's all kind of bullshit playground. Well, Joe Montana wasn't great. Brady wasn't great. Aaron Rodgers, well, he didn't even play his first few years. It's hard for anybody at any job. I'm in finance. I couldn't just step up the next day and do it. Maybe after a month or two. Once I get to, I know what I'm looking at. But in anything, it's very hard. When Bobby comes on, believe me, his first year, he didn't know what he was doing. Then you kind of learn. I don't think any of these quarterbacks should be starting their first year. They shouldn't even be playing. Look at Richardson. He got hurt. He didn't even know the slide. I saw the hit. Some guy landed on him good. They taught him a lesson. He keeps running like that. And they're like, okay, you want to keep running like that? And he landed on his shoulder and separated that. So, yeah, they're not real happy with him. Fields still sucks after 3 years. Most of these quarterbacks don't know what they're doing. But again, they know how to throw a pass. That's not my argument. All right, let's finish this. So I lay away from Tulane. They haven't been playing well, and they beat Tulsa 24-22. And I said, good no play to myself. And I'm like, well, what's going on? They scored 24 points. Quarterback's playing against Tulsa, who's a 36 defense. I didn't understand that. So stay away from Tulane. They're not playing well. Miami, Florida State, they didn't even play Van Dyke. I think he got in at the end. I didn't understand that. The biggest game of the year, and you don't start your star quarterback? Okay. That's why that coach is – you can't bet Miami. They have the worst coach. Missouri, Tennessee, I tell you, Missouri's playing hot, and they win 36-7 as a home dog. I did have Missouri. I did play that one. Why didn't I lock it? And see, this is the problem. After the game's over, you go, yeah, why didn't I lock it? I love Missouri. I did bet them, but I didn't lock them. And it just – that's part of the problem is picking. I did have Alabama as a lock. I did have Oklahoma over as a lock. I played Oak State against UCF. They got killed. And then I'm going, why didn't I play Missouri? Or why didn't I play Washington? These other games. Georgia, why didn't I did play Georgia, but I didn't lock it. Georgia, 52-17. Again, Mississippi with the good offense, not a great defense. Georgia with that defense just kills them, especially at home, 52-17. Just what we would think from Georgia. And again, the only way to beat Georgia is you've got to have a strong defense. Mississippi does not have a strong defense. That was probably the easiest. LSU, we get the quarterback playing. He looks good, Daniels, 52-35 over Florida. You just assume that LSU is going to score 50 points against a team like Florida. And again, they have a weak defense, so they're the perfect over right now with maybe Washington, Cal, Oregon State, Colorado. These teams, good offense, no defense. Texas TCU. I have Texas -9 early in the week. I play it -3 because I like the backup, and then Ewers plays. And they win 29-26. They win by 3 is a push, which is okay. They only scored 29, which is a surprise because TCU hasn't been playing well. Maybe TCU is playing better. I don't know. Arizona, Colorado. This game surprised me a little bit. Arizona with a really strong defense, I thought would hold Colorado down a little bit. Arizona wins 34-31. So they're a better team than you think. But Colorado, I think, is learning how to score against these better defenses, although UCLA didn't do anything. Here against Arizona at home, they did get the win. I think teams played better at home. Colorado sucks. We don't care that they suck. We care, are they an over team? We know they can score, and we know they have no defense. They have a 34 defense. I mean, it's field day. Yeah, okay. Now this is a game I had that I liked is Troy over Lou Monroe. The B team, now here I'm going against the Z team with the team that's very hot, Troy. Troy wins 45-14. That was one I probably should have locked. I thought about locking it. How do you lock Troy? What if they lose? And why didn't I play Alabama? So it becomes that. But again, playing against the Z team and they kill them. Then I have James Madison, an A team, playing UConn, a Z team. Again, why didn't I lock it? They have a good quarterback. They're scoring. They win 44-6, laying 24. So again, you get these good teams. They need to win, and they play the Z teams, and they kill them. Georgia State, App State. Georgia State was 2.5. I love App State. I take App State, and they win 42-14. I was shocked by that, but they did win. So I got the W there. So I'm winning with these teams that are hot, but they're not called Ohio State and Alabama. That's where I excel. So I went ZZ, and then App State, Georgia State. The over also wins. This is what's confusing. This game goes over, and then some of these over games. There was an over game that didn't go over. I think USC, Oregon. Oregon's defense kind of played it into check. But Oregon didn't score as much as I thought they would. Thought they put up 50. They put up 39 or something. Kansas State kills Baylor. Baylor's not playing well. They're a W team. Kansas State's very strong. Again, not named Oklahoma or Alabama. 59-25. They win by 24, an easy win. They're laying 21. No, they win by 34. They're laying 21. Over under 55. They go to 59 by themselves. They're a very explosive team, Kansas State. They got Kansas this week. Utah State, Nevada. Nevada's a Z team. Utah State laying 16, wins by 17, 41-24. Nevada's been scoring a little bit more. We got to take a 5-game look at them. Utah State put it up. Both teams have a terrible defense. That was a good overplay. I didn't play it. But the over-under was 56. All you needed was 50. You get a 65 because both defenses suck. But you don't know what you're getting out of Nevada. Are they going to score for me? And they put up 24. Again, Utah State is a 33 defense. So I guess if you're playing really weak defenses, even though you're a Z team and you scored 15, 16 a game, they still put up 24. And Utah State lit them up with 41. Syracuse beats Pitt. I called that one, didn't play it. Pitt was a 3-point favorite. They're not a good team. They're a W team. Syracuse as a home dog, but to Pitt, weak favorite. That's where Greg John's saying, hey, they suck. Bet against. That's what you do here. Pitt, they're a W team. That's why I rank them. Otherwise, if you just hear Pitt -3, what do I do with them? You don't know, but if you know they're a W, you know that they don't score a lot. How can they're going to go win by 10 at Syracuse, who's not bad, but they've been playing very good. It's been a tough schedule for them. Rutgers, Iowa, we expect a low-scoring game with two strong defenses. We get 22-0 Iowa. And Iowa at home is different than Iowa at the road. So 22-0 Iowa. The over-under was 28. It wins. It's tough because it's such a low under, but it wins. And you can see, I'm not surprised Rutgers didn't score. I'm kind of surprised Iowa put up 22. Probably a pick six or a punt return or some fumble that got Iowa some points. But again, it stays way under 28 as Iowa is a very good under team. Purdue, Minnesota, they made Purdue a home dog, which, again, I didn't understand. Minnesota is not going to go on the road and kill you. Purdue's been playing weak, but they did play Michigan and a couple others, and they killed Minnesota 40. See, Minnesota's a weak favorite. So, again, you need to understand the teams and bet against weakness. Utah, Washington. Utah's showing a lot of offense now, even though they don't have Cam Rising. Imagine if they had Cam Rising. Washington wins 35-28. Spread was 9. I laid 3. I won that one. They win by 7, but I'm only laying 3. Utah's a good team, and I respect Utah. Now, the over-under was 48, so it gets bet from 51 to 48. The Sharps know what they're doing, yeah, and the game is a 63. Yeah, the Sharps are right there. They're deadly. That's why I laugh about the Sharps. The line went from 51 to 48 and they blew by that. So Washington 35-28, strong offense. They're going to score on anybody. Utah, you're keeping an eye and going, Utah's offense is getting better. So that's what we see. And Washington, how strong is their defense? Because Utah's lighting them up. So I question Washington's defense. Now it's a 23. They give up 28, probably still be a 23. And they score 35. They can score on anybody. Navy gets a win, 31-6 over UAB. Very interesting that UAB, a heavy over team, doesn't score. They score 6 points. What I take out of this is Navy put up 31. I go, okay, whatever they did, maybe they got some guys back. Not to run out and bet Navy, but to just keep an eye that they're, here they getting shut out. Now they put up a 31. Oak State, UCF. I lose the. I bet Oak State because of the running back, and they barely gave him the ball. UCF just came out. Oak State was flat because of the Oklahoma win, and it looked like it. I didn't think it would bother him, and I don't think UCF's that strong. Even the over doesn't win. It's 48 because you didn't get anything from Oak State. So it's just unusual. They go and kill Kansas State and kill Kansas. You see how good Kansas and Kansas State are. They beat Oklahoma. How could they lose to UCF? It's just they were flat. They played a lot of big games, and it's like Notre Dame. They played Duke, and then they went to play Louisville, and they got them. And it just, I think they'll bounce back this week, but we'll see. New Mexico State, there they go. They go beat Western Kentucky, a good team, 38-29. Broncos or Buffalo. Who's winning, TK? I want gold for Christmas. Well, then start buying the packs. You get gold. You get the 35-unit lock. You could have bet gold on that. I'll get to that later. New Mexico State, here they go, 38-29. Probably has a big day. Western Kentucky's an over team. So, I don't know how they lost the first week, but I had them pegged. Washington State, Cal, 42-39 Cal. Cal's an over team, as we know. Washington State statistically is an over team. The over-under was only 59. All we needed was 53, and they play an 81. That's where I was worried about Washington State because they lost to Stanford 10-7, and you're like, well, what's wrong? Then they had lost to Arizona, so you're like, what the fuck? Now, Kale was not, again, they're a 37 defense. So Ward had a good day because they have such a bad defense. So I think you've got to look at these over defenses and assume that even though they're a weaker offense or they're struggling, they're going to get well against this team, against this defense. Auburn, 48-10 over Arkansas. Auburn started lighting it up. Maybe they're getting comfortable. New quarterback, new coach. Maybe now they're getting it. Let's see what they do against Alabama. Arkansas just is not good this year. Jefferson's there, but he's not playing well, or they're missing receivers, or something's wrong. Usually it's a new offensive coordinator that fucks up things, changes their quarterback, changes their system, and you don't have the right guys for this. A good offensive or defensive coordinator will adjust to the players. I got a great running back. I'm going to be a running team. Not we're going to run the run and shoot, but we don't have the players for it. I think that's what's happening in Miami. They have Van Dyke, and they're not running a good offense for him. I see them handing the ball off so many times. Then when he does throw these interceptions, these guys they're stupid plays. I mean, these aren't good plays. And, it's just this offensive coordinator, he didn't take a knee. He's obviously an idiot. I'll keep an eye on him and see where he goes next year, and we'll bet against it. So it's almost like follow the offensive coordinator. Oregon State, Stanford. Oregon State was the 62-17. They kill them. Over under was 51. Oregon State's an A team. So against Stanford with the weak defense, they've been scoring a little bit more. They got 17. But Oregon State at home, very tough, 62-17, with a 51 over, which we could have teased down to 45. Oklahoma, after 2 losses, I was going to play Oklahoma minus 11.5, down to 5.5. That was going to be my lock with San Francisco. And then I looked at the over-under, was 53, I think. And I looked at some West Virginia thing on YouTube, some of their games, and I go, fuck, this team can score. I'm worried about the 11, but I know Oklahoma's going to score. So when I saw 53, I think this is 53. All I got to do is 47 with Oklahoma. They're going to kill them, but West Virginia can score. So I locked the over. Even though it was an A team against the B team, as I'm noticing – now, West Virginia, Oklahoma's a 20 defense. West Virginia got 20. West Virginia with the 24 defense, Oklahoma put up 59 because they lost 2 in a row. So it's okay. You got to keep track of who's losing. If it's a good team like Oklahoma or San Francisco, yeah, you might have bet them against Cincinnati, but I warn you not to take San Francisco against Cincinnati because of Joe Burrow. Okay, so we don't get caught in that trap. But then yesterday, now we got 3 losses in a row. You have to bet them. If they lose, they lose. You have to bet them, and they killed them. And same thing with Oklahoma. They lost 2 in a row. They're at home to West Virginia, who doesn't have that strong defense. This game's going over, and Oklahoma's probably going to win, cover 2, but I like the over better. That's why it was a lock. So this was a very strong lock, just as the Alabama one. Probably could have played Georgia instead of Oak State as my 3rd lock, but unless I'm Bertie Madoff, I can't play the games after they're played. Cincinnati, Houston, very strange. Houston's an over team and only scores 14 on Cincinnati, who's a 28 defense. Cincinnati's not been playing well, so I stayed away from this over, and I'm glad I did. The over was 54, and this was 24-14, which makes no sense. Cincy's just not scoring. So don't think of Cincy as an over team, and they're not. They're an A team. Houston's the team that I can't understand. They play Texas like 41-39, and then they score 14 on Cincinnati. I don't know, so I'm careful with it. All right. Then we get to page 2, Ohio State, Michigan State. I play it under with Michigan under. So I had Michigan under, Ohio State under. Todd's saying, I'm not playing Ohio State under. I'm not playing Michigan under. Oh God, do you think I'm joking or what here? Ohio State 35-3. 35 nothing at half, 38-3. So they do a 41. Over under was 47. I'm under 53. If you just watch the final score, you'd go, oh yeah, it's perfect. If you watch the first half, you're sweating in your pants. But look what happens. Ohio State goes and scores first 5 times they have the ball, touchdowns with no sweat. I don't know what happens in the second half. I guess they just start running the clock, and that's it. And they don't score. So this is going to be a real strong bet when they play Michigan. I'll tell you, if they're a home dog, I'm jumping on them. I'm jumping on the under in the Ohio State-Michigan game. It is a strong underplay, as we saw against Penn State and Michigan, and Ohio State, Penn State. But we do see Penn State's not the greatest offense, but neither is Ohio State, really. And Michigan played a good team. They only scored 24. So Michigan wants to run the ball. Ohio State will not let them. I'm waiting for that game. That's going to be Lock City there. A&M, Mississippi State. A&M kills them 51-10. A&M looks good. Mississippi State, like I said, Will Rogers is hurt, and the new quarterback sucks. And see, this is the problem. This new quarterback sucks. Some other new quarterback is good. Kansas's backup is better than the starter. So it depends who you have to determine it. But A&M killed them. UTSA Rice, maybe he will be good after a few games or whatever. So I don't play that one because I didn't have the Rice quarterback, or that was an over. Duke, North Carolina, I tell you it's a rivalry game. Tease the dog wins. Overtime, 47-45, North Carolina. I was surprised that it was high scoring. I had under circled 51. I didn't play the under. And this was like, I don't know what the score was at the end of the game. That might have been under. It might have been like $20 or whatever. But Duke scoring 45. But North Carolina, they're an A team that gives up 23. And Duke's an under team that gives up 15. And there's where you go. Here's a 15 under. And North Carolina scores 47 on. Now, granted, double overtime. But you got to be careful. I think you want an under team against a Z team, and then play it under. I think when you got these explosive teams, especially in college, even though you got a good defense, it's still going to be high scoring unless it's Georgia, Iowa, UCLA, Arizona State. UCLA with the strong defense. Thought it would be under. They score. They got quarterback problems. The over-under was 45. The game 17-7, Arizona State. UCLA's quarterbacks are injured. They got a great defense. They're perfect under. New Mexico State, Boise. I have the over. That was my favorite over. I had that game over with Fresno State, San Jose State over, and I win them. They're both over teams. Mexico gives up 35. Boise gives up 29. Over under is 60, so I go over 54, and it ends up being 56. So I get there. New Mexico with the 35 defense, they score 42. And Boise with the 29 defense, New Mexico only gets 14. But that was enough. And so, again, with this lower in the 50-ish total, I get I don't need as much. This is a 70. I don't get there. They only get to 56, but all I needed was 50. Iowa State kills BYU 45-13. Iowa State, even though they're an under team, are starting to score. They're playing well. This is a 40 over under, and BYU is a W team. So this is weird. But Iowa State's not as much of an under team lately. They have been scoring. This is just when it gets out of hand. Iowa State probably had a few picks. 45-13. Fresno State, San Jose State, over under was 54.
So I need, it might have been 53. I think I got 53 here. So I need 47. I get 42-18. San Jose State gets it by themselves. A 60-point game. San Jose State, good quarterback. We know Fresno State, Mikey Keene was playing, good quarterback. And San Jose State just kills them, which is surprising they killed them, but 42-18. So I hit that over. USC Oregon, I missed the over. I got it at 73. I need 67. I get 63. I'm not surprised SC got 27. If you remember the video, I said I thought Oregon would get in the 50s. They only got in the 36, was a very big surprise for me. I kept waiting to see it, but they were more running the ball and, keeping the ball away from USC. So this 63 is, it's a good score. That's where, when I saw the over hit 77, I didn't like it at all. But 73 was a little high. I usually don't want to go 70s, usually as high as I'll go. And I would have lost to a 63 anyway. And then Air Force Hawaii, Hawaii wins the game somehow. Air Force's quarterback's knocked out, so he's gone. So Kansas's quarterback got hurt. I lost. Air Force's quarterback got hurt. I lost. So the only couple of games I'm losing my quarterback. And then Oklahoma State was flat. So I win the Michigan under, Ohio State under. I win Alabama, Georgia. I win the Boise over, Fresno State over. I get lucky. There was Oak State with Kansas was one teaser. So I got buried by both. That's what you want in a teaser, right? You lose both the games because you've lost the teaser in the beginning anyway. So when you lose the second game, that's kind of good. I mean, because you're not going to win losing the first game. All right, the pros. Overall, it was a very good college, and most importantly, the 35-unit lock wins. I have Alabama in 2 teasers, one with San Diego, one with Georgia. I have San Diego in 3 teasers, obviously with Alabama, and then I have them. I don't remember who I have. I had Frisco with or Oklahoma over because that was a lock. So I had them in 3 teasers. I think I have them with San Diego, and I had them with San Francisco. And, so I just hit it. Baltimore, I only played in 1 teaser. I had a Baltimore under, Jet under. And Baltimore went over, but that was it. And then I had the Jets in a 2 or 3 teasers. I love the Jets under because they're playing an under team, Oakland, who's not that good. But let's get into the pros. So 27-24 by 3. They win 16-13 by 3. A little less points than I thought, but that's what you got when you got Vince Young against the grocery clerk. The grocery clerk isn't going to light up Carolina. I mean, this is the problem. You don't know what you're getting with Carolina. 28 defense and a 27 defense, and the score is 16-13. How bad is the coaching and the quarterbacking? And Young looked terrible. I think 7 of Carolina's points was a punt return. So he got him 6 points against the Bears. How bad is that guy? In New England, I don't see it. It's in Germany. We're teaching while it's going on. Indy wins 10 to slide so bad they pulled him for Zappy. Well, why aren't you just starting Zappy? I don't understand. Belichick, a 10-6 game. I picked 24-14 Indy by 10. They're laying 1. So if you picked Indy, you won. They win 10-6. Another 27 versus 25 defense in a 10-6 game. That's jet lag. That's time change. That's the problem with these Germany and London games. You're getting shit. Now the teams are exhausted. Now they get to get used to the flight back in the U.S. time zone. It's just pathetic. And they can't leave. When you're playing this game, you got to realize in Europe, the only way you get back to America is a 10 o'clock flight. They don't have like evening flights. Now, if it's a team playing, that doesn't matter. But if they're getting United, they're waiting until Monday at 10 a.m. to fly home, which really, well, they get home at, it's with all the time change back. You leave at 10 o'clock, you get home at like 12 o'clock. All right. All right. Houston, Cincy. I got Cincy. I'm waiting. T. Higgins is out and Chase has a bad back. So I'm frozen on this game. I was going to initially lock the game. I take the lock off. I then go, do I play it? I don't go. I don't have Chase. The line goes to 5.5. So I play it very, very small. I think I played it with New Orleans. And I got them 27-17. They lose 30-27. Stroud, okay, Alex, he runs around and it's all playground football. Burrow drops back and throws. He goes and he runs. And the first thing he does is leave the pocket and runs right, which kills you lose half the field because you can't go left with it. And it becomes just, bullshit football. I mean, that's what you got with CJ Stroud. And it's a lot of prayer. They did get the win 30-27, only because since he should have won, only because if you watch the end of the game, it's 27-24 Houston. Since he drives down, Burrow hits this guy wide open in the end zone, right in his hands, and the guy drops it. So they kick the field goal to tie it at 27 instead of going up 31-27, which makes the field goal at the end mute. So again, a drop pass by Burrow's guy. A 21 and a 20 defense. So against Cincy's defense, Houston puts up 30. I'm kind of shocked. Houston's 21 defense, I know, isn't real, and Burrow puts up 27. That made sense. I'm shocked the way since he's been playing and they beat Frisco and they needed the game, that they would lose this game to Houston. New Orleans, Minnesota. New Orleans 2.5. I take New Orleans plus 3.5. My score is 24-13. Minnie scores 27-19 with Dobbs. My whole point is Dobbs stinks. He got benched by Arizona. He goes to Minnesota. Jefferson's out, and he puts up 27 on New Orleans, who's got a pretty good defense. They're at 19 defense. They've got Derek Carr and Kamara and Thomas, and everybody's playing. Olave. How they hold them to 19, I don't know. Now, again, new coach. This makes no sense that their quarterback, Dobbs, who's benched by Arizona, is lighting up New Orleans. That makes no sense. That's why I bet it. And then you just scratch your head going, Dobbs is not good. He's doing a lot of running. I think he scored 1 or 2 touchdowns just scrambling around and running. Okay, that's not really, that's bullshit. That's a lot of the quarterbacks in the NFL, and that's why they stink, because once you see that and you go, okay, watch out. Dobbs can't throw, but he's going to run. Okay, and then you play that. You bring in more safeties. This is the problem with the defensive coordinators. They don't want to blitz. And all you got to do to beat Dobbs and beat Stroud is blitz him. Want to beat Stroud? Blitz him when he rolls to his right, have a blitzer come up. Now what you going to do? These guys can't handle blitzes. That's why I don't like them. So, again, I undervalue Dobbs because he got benched. He's not very good. I go, Carr gets hurt, a third quarterback for me. He gets hurt, and Winston's in the game, and I'm like, oh, shit. Winston threw some bad interceptions yesterday. So, okay. That happens. It was a very small bet with Cincinnati. Okay, I lost. Green Bay Pitt. I hit this twice. I play it under 39-45, 23-19 is a 42. I win the under. Both teams are under. Both teams have a 20 defense. Love and Pickett, terrible quarterback. So it made sense. My score was 24-14 Pitt. It's 23-19. I hit that pretty good. I lose New Orleans. Mini, I have 24-13 New Orleans to win. I'm shocked. This game I'm right on, 24-14. They win by 4. If you bet Pitt, you won. If you bet the under, you won. So I have that again. Love and Pickett, you're not getting a big score. Although it did get to 42. Tennessee, Tampa, 2 under teams. I got Tennessee winning 2017. I bet the game under. The real score is 20-6 for Tampa. I had Tennessee winning, but I did have it low scoring, and I did play the under. With Levis, I am not sold to take Tennessee as a road dog, so I lay away from that. Tampa, maybe they are better than I'm thinking. I don't know. Tennessee, but again, you got Levis, you've got Love, you got Dobbs, you got Stroud, you got Jones, you got the grocery clerk. I mean, this is just, look at these quarterbacks. So it makes it hard because you don't know what you're getting. They're so insecure, not insecure, but inconsistent, insecure. Frisco 3 over Jacksonville. I thought this line was 7. I got 27-13 Niners. They win 34-3. Loved it. Had them 2 or 3 times. Purdy against Lawrence. San Francisco showed you how to beat Lawrence. Just they I don't know how many sacks they had. They weren't losing. Purdy threw 3 touchdowns. That's what you get when the team loses 3 in a row. Now, you would have gotten this after 2 in a row, but if they were flat or they just didn't have T. Higgins and Chase was injured and played, I don't know what happened to Cincinnati. Maybe they were a little flat from beating the Niners, but the Niners after the loss, they lose 3 in a row. Look for them to get hot right now. So they got it. They got the 34-3 win over an average Jacksonville team. But like I said, they've been playing Houston and Indy, 2 very bad teams. And I think they lost to Indy once. And so they've been playing nothing. And then the 2 London games are bullshit. So Frisco saying, hey, we're not going anywhere, 34-3. So I was happy for Frisco because it's good to bet on Frisco's. Baltimore, Cleveland. Baltimore 6.5. Cleveland's a 17 defense. Baltimore's a 14 defense. The over-under is 39.5. Watson and Lamar. Watson stinks. Lamar, we get 2 pick sixes in the game. I got 20-17 Baltimore. I figure it's going to be low scoring. You got a 17 defense and a 14, 33-31. You had an interception 20 seconds into the game. Watson throws, and the Notre Dame guy picks it off. And I'm dead right there. I go, shit, are you kidding me? And then somehow Cleveland wins the game thanks to Lamar's interception. I think he threw a pick 6, had another interception. He's not a good quarterback. I'm sorry. I would love to bet on Lamar. This is why I don't bet on Lamar. It comes to making money, to buying gold. I know I can hear Bobby right now going, yeah, he fucked me again yesterday. Here you go, laying 6.5. You tease them to -0.5. You lose 33-31. They had a big lead. I locked it under. I don't know how this got to 33-31 with two strong defenses. But again, you've got 2 pick sixes, so take 14 away. So you got a 64 minus 10 is 54 is 50. You're still getting murdered. This is what Cleveland's an under team. They don't score. They score 33. What the fuck? So this is just this escapes logic that 2 teams with this strong defense play a 64-point game. You couldn't pick it. I have 20-17. And again, I'm just picking a score that I think the game's going to be close. Not even close. Atlanta, Arizona. Atlanta's an under team. They got Heineken. Arizona's got Kyler Murray back. I got 24-10 Atlanta. Arizona with Kyler Murray after being out a year, and they win 25-23. Atlanta's just such a weak road team. Again, I couldn't play Atlanta. I didn't play the game. Weak road favorite. I had the 24 with Atlanta. They got 23, but I didn't expect Arizona with Kyler Murray coming back to light it up like he did. So again, this is what we learned. Kyler Murray, okay, maybe they're going to score with him. The defense still sucks. And again, they played Atlanta, who's not a power offense team. So this is why we hunt for the offenses and the defense. They played Philadelphia. Philadelphia's going to murder them. Frisco's going to murder them. San Diego's going to murder them. Denver's going to murder them. Detroit, San Diego. I got San Diego 27-21, over under 48.5. You got a 21 defense, Detroit, who I keep yelling is only against the bad quarterbacks. San Diego's a 24, but they play Kansas City and Denver and Minnesota and these better teams. Detroit wins 41-38. A little bit of stress. Detroit got up 17-3, and then back came San Diego. I was hoping San Diego would take the lead for us, but they didn't. But they came back. It was a hell of a couple of fourth downs that we had to sweat out. But that last one, he hits Keenan Allen for a 40-yard touchdown on fourth down. Wondering why aren't you doing that on first down? And 41-38 Detroit. I'm shocked they won. I'm not shocked at the score. San Diego puts up 38 on them. Detroit against a good quarterback. So they played three good quarterbacks now. Forget the Mahomes game. Kelsey was out. It was week one when they didn't play preseason. So I don't expect week one. So they played Seattle and gave up 38. They played Baltimore and gave up, 38. And now they played San Diego and gave up 38. The three good quarterbacks they played, they gave up 38 points against Vince Young, against Josh Love, against Mayfield, against Atlanta, what's his name? Atlanta against Riddler. So against Riddler, Love, Young, and on Oakland, O'Connell. These are the teams they're beating looking good. But when they play a good quarterback and a good team, they get crushed. They have a secondary problem. They didn't sack. They didn't get close to Lamar. Cleveland did. They didn't get close to Herbert. They didn't sack him once. So if you can dig into it, you can see there's two Detroit teams. And you just look at who they're playing. If they're playing this weak-ass quarterback and this weak-ass team, they're going to pound them. When they play a good quarterback, you're going to bet it over. So this should have been – I locked San Diego. I would have locked the over, had San Diego. I had San Diego -7. So if that was the spread, I would have locked it over. I wouldn't have taken Detroit in 13. Not because of the Baltimore game. I didn't think Detroit would win at San Diego. Especially as a 3-point favorite. So that's why the lock went San Diego 9. Otherwise, it would have had San Diego been a 3. I wouldn't have taken San Diego +3 because what do I tell you? The dog in the San Diego game always wins. They're now 23-3, San Diego in a teaser. That's just in a teaser, but as a dog, they're much stronger. So keeping that in mind, that's why we locked it. It was just like I think we locked them against Minnesota. Yeah, we did, because they were the dog to Minnesota. We locked them, and they won the game 28-24. Here they're a home dog to Detroit, who's not very good, and 41-38, and it does go over. So we note all that. Detroit secondary sucks. Detroit offense strong. San Diego's offense strong. San Diego's defense sucks. This was a 21 and a 24 defense, but if you took the crap out, and in this type of team, Detroit's at 38 now. They played 3 good teams, 38 points each. Depending when they play Denver, it'll be an over. They got to play Russell Wilson in a few weeks. Minnesota, it should be probably an over. I think they got to play New Orleans. So we'll see if they get a break with New Orleans. If it's Winston, if it's Winston, they'll kill them. If it's Carr, it'll be one of these explosive games. So that's what you dig into and determine. Once you see a weird schedule like Detroit has, it's a very weak schedule. Sort of like Michigan. Now we see them against a good team, 24-15. Oh, okay. They're not that strong, are they? Dallas over the Giants. I played the game under 45. Dallas killed me with 49 on their own. A little surprised they got to 49. They didn't coast in the second half. Danny DeVito, I thought it was 37-0. It was 49-17. So I was pretty close except for Dallas. But more, maybe this should have been a Dallas play off the loss to Philly. Again, Danny DeVito, my mistake there. I went under. I thought it would be 37-0. I thought they'd kill him. Washington, Seattle, I had the over in this game, 45 over 39. -5. They don't win by a lot. I had them 27-24. They win 29-26. I was dead on here. But that's how Seattle plays. They don't kill you at home. I don't know what it is. They barely win at home. Washington's an over team, basically. They give up 27, and Seattle got 29, and Seattle gives up 22. They got 26. So it was pretty much where you're at. Over under 39 was a joke. They got a 55. The Jets in Oakland, that was my third lock, and that was an over. And it was what, 16-12. W. I love Martin the W's. So Bumpton told me something was funny, so I didn't play ball. I put Pitt in 2 teasers in one. I put the Jets in 3 teasers in one, but I didn't. There was just something wrong. And again, I was pissed that I didn't lock Pitt under with the Jets. I took Baltimore. Should have been Pitt, 200 teams. Baltimore was an A against an under. And with Cleveland's defense, I'm just shocked by that score. But the Jets in Oakland, 16-12, 200 teams, an 18 defense by the Jets, a 21 by Oakland. Oakland's got no offense. O'Connell against Wilson. I don't know why Wilson's so bad. I mean, he was good at BYU. What the fuck's going on? You had the Packer receivers. They're not running the ball properly. I think they got a little weak offensive line and a very strong defense. So 16-12, a 28. I'm under 43. Piece of cake. That's how I won all of them. All right, now, hey, Nick. Yeah, thank you, Nick. Yeah, that was an easy one. Troy's been playing strong, and then when I looked, I think, what did they play? Lou Monroe. Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I thought of you going, this is how you play against the Z team. You play a Troy, you play a James Madison. I played both of them against the Z teams, and that's what you're looking for. You need an explosive team. Now, Troy's explosive, as so is James Madison's very explosive, just in the lower conference. So absolutely a perfect Z team play. So who's winning? You want the goal. Who's winning, Broncos or Buffalo? I got Denver winning the game. I got them 2017. Russell Wilson against Allen. Let's look at Allen. They lost in London to Jacksonville. They come home to the Giants and score 15 points on the Giants. Dallas just put up 49. They're not really playing well. They're not scoring. A couple of safeties are out. Von Miller isn't showing up. And Josh Allen's hurt, but he's not that good anyway, as I try to tell you. Denver's playing excellent ball. they played KC twice. They played them like a 19-7. KC won, and then they beat KC 24-7. So you're beating KC 24-7. You can't ignore it. You can't say, well, it's KC. It's fucking Mahomes. You beat him 24-7. Now you got Allen. Are you scared of Allen? You just beat Mahomes. So I'm not scared of Allen. I think Sean Payton's got him playing much, much better. Now he's been there. This is the 10th week. I don't know if they have the bye. So let's say 9. Now you've got him for 9 games. You didn't play him in the preseason. Russell Wilson's a whole new quarterback. I told you he was not going to suck this year, not with Sean Payton. And I think that's what's hurting the Jets is who's their offensive coordinator, Hackett, the guy from Denver last year who sucks, but he's Rodgers' guy. So Rodgers understands him, but nobody else does. So he's really a bad offensive coordinator. That's why I think Zach Wilson and the Jets are struggling. Just like Miami, Florida's struggling, and some of these other Arkansas must have switched offensive coordinators because they can't score. We know Jefferson's good. What the fuck's going on with these teams? So I got Denver with the 22 defense. Keep in mind, yes, they gave up 70. Miami skews everything. They're not that bad. The 70 was one of those games. They must have quit. I mean, who knows? A lot of turnovers probably. But after that, you held Kansas City twice under 20. So you want to tell me they got a bad defense and you can hold KC under 20 twice and beat them 24-7 or 24-6? Are you kidding me? So that's my point. Look at what Denver's doing the last few games. We know Sean Payton. Now he's got his team. He's getting them better. They're getting Judy from Alabama. He doesn't miss a game. This is the one time I like an Alabama receiver. You got Russell Wilson. They are not blowing out Denver. Denver in 13, strong play. I kind of like the under because I think that Denver's defense is playing very strong. I was listening to BetMGM on the way to swim, and they were talking about this game. They go, I don't understand why people are on Denver. And my thought was because I gave them Denver on my class, and it must be in my mind it gets out, right? I give you a pick, or I give you San Diego, and I guarantee you, I saw the line drop. I just, somebody's listening, I'm sure. I hear it on the other radio station in Detroit. A lot of the shit I say, like Michigan hasn't beaten anybody. Rutgers is the best team. I hear it on the fucking radio. They haven't beaten anybody but Rutgers. And so that's where I'm at with these guys are listening. So I'm not surprised. But Denver, I think they win the game straight out. But we'll take the 13 anyway. Under is the play, 47. You got a 22 and an 18 defense. Buffalo's not scoring. You put up 15 on the Giants, and I'm going to get scared of the over in this game. Does it get over? I don't know. After the Baltimore Cleveland underlocked, what the fuck there? See, this is where I get upset. Is people like, oh, you lost? I'm like, fuck. Did you predict that? Could you have predicted a 64-point game, Cleveland Baltimore? If you could, then you should be doing this, because I don't know how you could have, with an over under of 39.5, picked a 61-point game. That doesn't happen. So take Denver to win, take Denver and the under tonight. So that's what we learned. So let me read these. Still working on my techniques. I see how I can play against the Z team better. Well, the funny part is Navy blew out somebody this week because they got 2 or 3 interceptions. And they scored on them, and that was the end of Air Force. Air Force lost to Hawaii because they got the quarterback injured. There's nothing you can do there. But that's the ideal thing and it's usually these Troys and James Madisons or Missouri, not the Alabama, Georgias that you really want to jump on. Those are the ones that, UCF and Oklahoma State and Kansas. That's who you bet on when they're hot, and off you go. Now, Oklahoma State that great running back, they didn't give him the ball. They got in a hole and they started passing. I would have just kept handing the guy the ball. Ali Davis, I think. Fucking, this guy's the best player in college football by it's not even close, by a mile. So give him the ball 20 times and you can win. Like in Denver, I just gave you my thoughts. Denver is decent. Denver's better than decent. Denver's going to make the playoffs. Well, you know how I feel with the money line. Although see, here's the problem with the money line. I think Denver can win the game straight out. However, you're not getting a good value. Whatever you're getting, let's say plus 200. Okay, it probably should be plus 500. That's why I don't like the money lines. You're not getting fair odds. I just assume take the 13. Well, but can't you play it next week? So take that with 13 and we'll look at the college. I'm sure we can find a play. Well, I got to put in the lines. I don't have it, but like USC, UCLA next week, UCF, T-Tech. Lou Lafayette gets Troy. Maybe you go to Troy. Where's the interesting games? Illinois, Iowa, go Iowa under, even if hopefully it's over 20. Michigan, Maryland, Oklahoma, BYU. Jump all over Oklahoma. No, I got to get the lines before I say that, but yeah, put it with the next week's team. The lines are out. You should be able to bet Denver in 13 with Ohio State next week or whoever. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. Plus 300 for Denver. Maybe play a little on it, but it probably should be 500, right? Yeah, I get tips. I got an email from somebody who made me $8,000 listening here. I don't know who it is. He's not one of like Greg or John or Nick or somebody I know. And he gave me $300 tip. I said, "What's this for?" And he said, "You made me $8,000." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll take it." Because it was near the end of the year last year. It was like after the college bowls, and he bought the college package. I'm saying, but the college is done, and it was a tip, and I was like, "Oh, okay, good." I get guys. I've been betting the dogs in the division games and winning a fortune, and and I get these tips all over the place. I do take tips, but I just assume help you with the locks. So anyway, pretty good day. Did we learn anything? What did we take out of the pros? I mean, Young sucks on Carolina. The grocery clerk, he sucks. I don't know what happened with New England. I guess they were tired. Stroud was dancing around. Burrow didn't have Higgins. We know Burrow. Carr against Dobbs. I don't know what the fuck. Dobbs gets, first of all, he sucked at Pittsburgh. He sucked at Tennessee in the playoff game. He got benched at Arizona. I don't know what the guy's doing in the league. And then he puts up, they win 27-19 over a real good New Orleans defense. What do we do with Dobbs? Do we bet him? Do we bet against them? Is he good? Is he bad? We don't know. This is the problem with a guy like Dobbs. He shouldn't be in the league. If Cousins was there, he wouldn't even be playing. He wouldn't be playing at Arizona. You got Kyler Murray, so they let him go and kept who did they keep? That one guy, I can't remember. Who did Arizona? Clayton Tune, they kept over him. So he's terrible. He's running, though. I mean, he didn't do anything. He just kind of went back to pass and ran, So he's running a lot, basically, not playing quarterback. So I don't know what I do with this guy. Love and Pickett, 23-19. Love, he misses wide open receivers. He's not good. although I give him credit for 19 on Pittsburgh's defense. Pickett, I think, is getting better. I'm comfortable. Yesterday, I would have bet him, but I bet the under because I didn't think Love 19. So I had Pittsburgh down 24 points. And Love, I don't know what to do with him. But I think Jones is playing, the running back with the pulled hamstring for 10 weeks. If he plays, they're going to score a little bit more because then he just gives them a little swing pass and he does the rest. So Jones is very good. So it's more Jones than Love. Tennessee, Levis, they scored 6 on Tampa Bay. I have no idea. He's too young to really bet on. He had that first game, and then that's what I said. Then the tape comes out. Then everybody sees what he likes, and all the other defenses then playing against him. And then all of a sudden he doesn't throw four touchdowns. They can't even get 10 points on Tampa. So maybe Tampa's got a good defense, but again, now we can't bet Levis. Mayfield, okay, I'm not crazy about, but all right. Purdy and Lawrence, we know Purdy. I bet on him all the time. Lawrence, I hate. I don't like. He's not a good quarterback. He runs a lot. So that's the problem. Thanks, Greg and John. Well, I mean, Nick, I'm trying to teach you. I know you wanted to use formulas, and that's why I'm stopping you. Believe me, if you could use a formula, I would have given you the formula. I gave you the trend analysis, but you can't even use that anymore because how can you use a Minnesota trend analysis? Now you got Dobbs at quarterback instead of Cousins. You got Jefferson out. What are you trending? So even the trend analysis is pretty much gone unless you got Kansas City with Mahomes or Herbert with San Diego or Buffalo with Josh Allen. So there's a few teams you can use the trend analysis for. But mostly between the coaches moving around and the quarterbacks moving around, and now you're starting, how can you use Carolina's trend analysis with Vince Young and or Houston's with Stroud or Indy's with Richardson and now Minshew? So as they change quarterbacks, it's hard to keep the trend analysis going. And that's as surefire as you could get to the trend analysis. It was like Christmas when I figured that out. One of my friends says, it's like you figured out the, what do you call it? What's it called? Jesus Christ. The Holy Grail. He says, it's like you found the Holy Grail. I said, I think I did. I think I figured out how to bet football. And it was all team personality. So I'm kind of now adjusting it to overs and unders, getting the team personality that way. So we can see, they got a lousy defense. I can bet it. They got a real strong defense. I better not fuck around with it. So it gives me a good break in the day and helps me sharpen my skill set. Well, thanks, Nick. Yeah, I'm not working now. So I was going to the pool at night, but the problem is then I get hungry and I don't want to eat late. That's why I apologize, but I'm eating because I just worked out because I want to eat after the workout while I'm in my window, it's 3:00 now. I got till 6:30 roughly. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. There's so much to handicapping because there's so many different variables. That was my point to you always, Nick, was you can't. How do you capture all the how do you capture let Frisco on a 3-game losing streak? How would you capture that in a formula? That's where the art comes in. The art comes in saying, wait a minute, Frisco lost 3 in a row. Oklahoma lost 2 in a row. These teams are going to kick ass. But how do you formula that? I mean, maybe you add something to it that says if a team's off of 2 losses or 3, but then it's a good team. Like if Arizona's on a 2-game losing streak, you're not going to bet them. But if it's San Francisco or Philadelphia or Oklahoma or, Texas, then it's a whole different – it's if the team's a really good team on a 2-game losing streak, bet it. But you don't need a formula for that. That's where you got to understand this is as much art as it is science. This is a feel. That's what I mean. Some people don't get it. I can feel the game. I felt San Diego was getting 3 at home was absolutely a lock. And that's why I made it 35 unit. And then when I caught Alabama, I said, I got my second part of it. That's why that was a 35 unit lock, because I could feel it. I knew Kentucky didn't have that strong of a defense, and Alabama was going to kill them, because Alabama can't lose, and they beat LSU, and they clinched the division, which is important. And then but they're still trying to make the playoffs, so it's not like they're going to let up. And then I knew Georgia was going to kill Mississippi, and I don't understand why I didn't lock them. But I had the Oklahoma over after 2 losses against. So, I mean, so that was what I mean by the feel. I knew San Diego 9 it was impossible they were going to lose. And it was 38-38, and Detroit scored. Now, let me ask this question to the class. What the fuck is the Detroit coach doing? He's got the ball at the 30-yard line, and it's 4th and 2, and he goes for it. Okay, the score is tied. Kick your field goal to win it. What are you doing? He gets lucky to get it, but if he doesn't get it, he gives San Diego the ball at the 30-yard line with 40 seconds left. They're going to go down and kick a field goal and lose. This is one of the stupidest coaches I've ever seen in my life. He goes for 4th down without considering the consequences. It's a turnover. The game is momentum. This is the problem that the math people don't understand, and the coaches that use the analytics don't understand. This is they go for 4th down every time. You're insane. It's not, you had 3 chances to get 10 yards. Now you need a 4th down, really? You realize if you don't make it, it's a turnover. And what happens at the turnover? They get all excited. You give them momentum when you go for it and don't make it, especially when it's not necessary. Hey, Alex. DJ Stroud, harder than CJ Stroud when Carolina beat him. He plays a lot of school ball. I mean, if you notice, he gets the snap, he rolls right, and throws up a prayer. That's all he does. So, anyway, the 4th down crap. They don't look at, if I don't make it, it's a turnover. In the Detroit game, how do you not field goal? How do you, even if you think San Diego's going to come down and tie it because there's 40 seconds left, fine. Then you let them go ahead and do that. But you can't sit there and let San Diego 4th and 2, under a minute left, and the score is tied, and you need a field goal. It's the 30. It's not midfield. Even if it is midfield, I wouldn't do it then. Kick your field goal, get your points, then try to play defense. But this is where my point is with the Lions. They don't have a defense against a good quarterback. And I went through that scenario. Geno Smith, who's Lamar, who's and then Herbert, who's they all put up 38 on the Lions. And you want to think the Lions have a good defense. Really. They do against Young, and they do against Mayfield, and they do against whoever was Oakland, O'Connell or whoever, and they do against what was the other one? Atlanta, the Riddler. So Riddler sucks, Young sucks, O'Connell sucks. So 3 of the quarterbacks they shut out aren't even pro quarterbacks. They play 2 decent quarterbacks and Herbert. And they give up 38 a game, and you want to tell me they got a good defense? Oh, okay, yeah, you can keep believing that. So we know how to bet the Lions now. It's just simply they got a good quarterback, bet it over. They got Russell Wilson coming up, bet it over. Unless the Denver defense really is getting strong and shuts down Detroit. How good is Detroit? What happened in the Baltimore game? We just saw Cleveland, who doesn't have an offense, beat them 33-31. Detroit didn't even show up to the game. Oh, Gibbs is so good, and this guy's so good, and that. Where were they? You had a game with Baltimore, who's an average team, not a great team, not a Super Bowl team, lose to fucking Cleveland. The guy's 30 yards open. That's my point. I mean, you can't say it's a one-off. Oh, it doesn't count. Yeah, but then we beat Oakland. Look how good we are. And that's why I'm like, I'm not seeing the Lions. I see their real color. They're going to have trouble with Minnesota. They got them twice. They'll kill the Bears because of the grocery clerk, and they'll beat Green Bay the last time because of Love sucks. So those 3 wins the Lions will get. They'll lose the 2 to Minnie, maybe. I mean, they would have lost them with Cousins. And they're basically an over team if they want to be. They run the ball, but they're a pretty good over team. That's kind of how you look at them. But the problem is you need defense to win. Well, anyway, what is this fourth down shit? And what is the problem with the coach not understanding if I don't make it? So there's this whole thing. I've been Googling up this whole fourth down crap. And there's this mindset that before you would worry about not making it, and you would say, well, if I don't make it, this happens and that happens. And now the mindset is, well, no, think you're going to make it. Don't think you're not going to make it. Now, I wonder what the fourth down thing is. They give you this macro look, just like the financial world, where they sit there and they say, in a macro sense, you pick up on fourth down, 55% of the time, which is obscure and doesn't say against which, doesn't say what part of the field and what the ball is, right? So they're not really giving you the truth. They're finding a stat that works. So on fourth down, in general, against the whole league, look, it's 55%. Do you think it's 55% against the 49ers, the Cowboys, Philly, Kansas City, the better teams? You think it's 55% there? Probably about 10%. So against certain teams, it might be higher. But again, if you don't make it, it's a turnover. And the way the teams are going for it, at their own 45, they're fucking idiots. I mean, because it's like a fumble. So what's the stat, which they probably don't give you? Teams that go for it on fourth down, don't make it. On their side of the 50, how many do you think win the game? Like 0? Lions at home will be competitive versus anyone. On the road, they will lose to a decent team. All right, well, they got Denver coming up at home, and they got New Orleans. So let's look at your theory. They played one good team at home, Seattle. Seattle beat them. At Baltimore, at San Diego. Kansas City doesn't count. It was the first week. Kelsey didn't play. And KC dropped like 10 passes. So I didn't see a defense against Mahomes. I mean, it's like you're excited about Houston. Yeah, they beat Cincinnati. I was surprised they beat Cincinnati. They wouldn't have beat them, again, if the tight end on Cincinnati holds on to the ball in the end zone on an easy pass with a minute left in the game. Since he has a 4-point lead, instead of tying the game, they would have went up 7, which would have made Houston have to score a touchdown to tie, not the field goal to win. So it's 27-24 Houston. The guy's got it right in his hands and drops it. So then it goes 31-27. Houston has to score a touchdown. Cincinnati wins the game. So, drop the ball. That happens in every game. But not to Chase and Burrow. The guy's probably on a bus to the Kroger store. He's going to join the Chicago quarterback at Kroger stacking the shelves. So again, they're not this fourth down bullshit. I didn't understand it. I just sat there and
Stop. Now, I don't care. I got 9 points in San Diego and 3 lock teasers. I could care less because even if they score, they're 7 points. And then you hope you don't get lateraled, right? But I couldn't believe what I want. Just kick your field goal. What if you don't make the 4th down? Are you that sure you're going to make the 4th down? Really? Why didn't you make the 3rd down? If you're that sure of that, why didn't you make the 3rd down? So that's really, the coaches are just idiots. You cannot play math in an emotional game. You must understand, had they not made it, the other team goes and wins. You lose the game, you're in field goal range, you must kick the field goal. What was your reward by going forward and making it? Nothing. So you move 10 yards closer and kick your field goal then. What was that was the reward, kicking a field goal instead of kicking. All right, maybe you burn 30 seconds off the clock. Who cares? Anyway, the next thing is these 2-point conversions. What the fuck are these people thinking? So let's go to the Penn Michigan game. It's I think it was 24 to 9. Well, let's go back. It was 14-3, and Penn State scores, so it's 14-9. I think it was 14, not 15. And they go for 2. Really? Well, we know it's a defensive game. We need points. And what are your odds on getting a 2-point conversion against Michigan? 1%, 2%, maybe. This is a 7 defense. You think you're going to get a 2-point conversion on them? Really? They don't get it. It's now 14-9. I think it was 14. What's the final there? 24. 24-15. Okay. So 14-9 instead of 14-10. This is going to come back and haunt them. Then you've got Michigan scores. Now it's 24-9 because you haven't done shit. You score. It's now 24-15 instead of 24-16. You kick the extra point. It's now 24-17. And now you need a touchdown to tie. Instead, you've dicked around. You went for 2. You didn't make it at 14-9. 24-15. You're down 9. You go for 2. Hello? Do you realize if you don't make it, you're down 9 instead of 8, and now you need 2 touchdowns or you need 10 points, and there's 2 or 3 minutes left in the game. What are you doing? Do you not understand how to add? Well, this way we can get down 7, or you're going to be down 9, which is what happened. They're not understanding the whole concept. You've got to look both ways. And do you really think against a team like Michigan or Ohio State or Georgia, you're going to do that bullshit and you think you're going to get it? Let's say it's Georgia. You think you're going to get a 2-point conversion on Georgia? Are you out of your mind? Alabama, are you out of your mind? It ain't fucking Iowa. There's no way you're going to Michigan, Ohio State. So you got to know who you're playing. So instead, they lost 2 points. So it would have been 24-17. And then if they got a touchdown at the end, then it's 24-23. Then if you want to go for 2, you can get it. Okay. Otherwise, it makes no sense. You've lost the 2 points. Not only that, you emotionally crippled your own team and you gave Michigan a boost. So Michigan's sitting there, you don't get it. So your team's deflated, which is one part they're not understanding. You're deflating your team when you don't get the 4th down. You're deflating the team when you don't get the 2. You scored the touchdown, the team's up, kick the extra point, team's up, they'll stop them. Go for 2 and you don't get it, and the team's like, shit, what are we doing? Because they're questioning you because they know better. Maybe if it's the 4th quarter and there's 5 minutes left and it's 14-9 and you're going for it to get the field goal to go 14-11, I get it. Not in the second, not against Michigan. So you deflate your own team twice. It's like a fumble. Okay, so he returns the second half kickoff against Notre Dame. They're down 24-6, 102 yards for a touchdown. The emotion went through the roof all of a sudden. So they're down 24-0 in the game. Anthony Davis scores like with 30 seconds left before half, 24-6. Now it's 24-13. I think it was a 28 or 40 point third quarter, all on emotion. And at what point are we now not everything I see? Oh, we'll do analytics. Yeah, that's really working well in baseball. By the way, that one team that could hit won the World Series because they could hit. And the teams that, we're going to go for a walk and get the 10th pitcher and we'll play analytics because he gets on and we won't steal. Yeah, how good is that? How many World Series has Oakland won since? And they haven't won any. Oh, okay. And when they did when they had Reed and Sal Bano and guys that could fucking hit the ball. You got to hit in baseball to win. And in football, these are turnovers. And when you get these turnovers, it does fuck you up. So you must understand that you're doing more than one thing by, it's not just I'm going for it and I'm going to make it. It's if I don't make it, and it's a turnover if I don't make it. So you can't just sit there. You can't just sit there and think there's no problem. So Michigan, Penn State loses the momentum on the first touchdown, and on the second one, there was only 2 minutes left anyway. You couldn't even get a first down on this defense. You're going to get a 2-point conversion. And again, if you looked at it, I bet if you went for fourth down against Michigan, I bet it's 0, and I bet going for 2 is 0. You're not going to get it. You're not going to Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame. These Georgias, you are not getting a fourth down, and you are not getting a 2. So put that out of your mind. The Lions go for it. Where was that against Baltimore? Yeah, you're getting your ass kicked against a decent, not the Niners, not Philly, not Kansas City. You're getting your ass kicked by Baltimore. Okay, they're lucky they're not playing Miami. They'd get their ass kicked by, even though Miami has no defense, that'd be a 100-point game because Miami, they could stop Tagovailoa, who's not a good quarterback, but they have a passing offense, which is their weak point because their secondary sucks, but they don't want to admit it. It's good against the teams like Oakland and Carolina and Green Bay, teams without quarterbacks. Look at our secondary. Anyway, so I don't get the 2-point conversion crap. I only get it at, like I said, if you're down 14-9, you've just scored to make it 14. You're down 14-3, you make it 14-9. And it's late in the game, and now you need the 2 so you could kick a field goal. But why are you kicking the field goal? To tie the game. Well, why the fuck, when you're down 14, are you going for 2, thinking, well, if we make it, we're down 6, and then we just need a touchdown next point to win. Wait a minute, you're playing to win there. So what are you doing with playing for a tie, going for 2 to kick a field goal to tie? So if you're using that logic, I go for 2 to make it 14-11, field goal ties the game, you're down 21-7, and you score. Well, why aren't you kicking the extra point? Now you're down 21-14, and then a touchdown and the extra point ties the game. So why does a tie work one way but not both ways? They just love going for 2 for some reason. It really just doesn't make any sense. So anyway, that's my piece on that. Let's look for next week. I don't even have all the college in here. And let's look. So that's what we learned. And we learned how to bet this week by, what do we do with Joshua Dobbs? We don't know. All right. I don't have the lines in yet. I will put them in after. Thursday night, Cincy, Baltimore. This is a dog play. So what I do is I write down like what I think
but without the line. So, all right, this is probably a dog play. I got Burrow. I'll take him as the dog all day. Thursday night, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Pitt and Cleveland, I like the dog there. Pitt's playing well. Cleveland, I don't know. Do they have a good defense? Where was it yesterday? Again, I like the dog in the division games. Arizona at Houston. Okay, Alex. So do we lock Houston against Arizona? CJ Stroud against Kyler Murray. I think it's an over game, actually. Bay, I would maybe go over. I don't know. Can you go over with Love? Only if Jones plays. We pray that Green Bay's favored. Then we can take San Diego as the dog. That would be another lock. So, again, if we got Green Bay -3, then we do another 35-unit lock with San Diego getting 9. That I guarantees not only do I guarantee San Diego's going to win, but you give me 9 points with San Diego, that they could play 100 games against Green Bay and beat them 100 times. The Giants in Washington, two inept teams. Again, Danny DeVito against Thurston Howell. Where are they getting these quarterbacks from? Oh, my God. The thing is, all right, Jones got hurt, and Tyrod Taylor got hurt, so they had to go to DeVito. But Washington with Thurston Howell, the third, is by choice. That's their number one guy. Oh, my God. So you can see why these teams suck, because you need a quarterback. Tennessee at Jacksonville. I don't know. Jacksonville's been playing well. I don't look at Jacksonville off of a loss, get all excited. Chicago, Detroit. Detroit should murder them. Let's see what the line is. Oakland, Miami. A replay of the 74 championship game. Fred Biletnikoff and Stabler. Miami is super strong at home. I look for Miami to kill them. Oakland just doesn't have anything. They don't have defense. What you saw yesterday versus what you're going to see with Miami is two different worlds. They're going to get killed. Just like the Buffalo game, they got killed. Dallas, Carolina, Dallas going to kill them. Frisco, Tampa. You probably see, this is why you look at it before the line, because once you got the line in there, it skews your judgment. So I'm looking at this, pick the score, Dallas 37-3. Then we see the line, and then the line comes out at 14, and you're a little apprehensive to bet it. But if you play the game without the line, now when the line comes out, you go, yeah, they'll still handle it. Frisco, Tampa. Frisco should win. Seattle, LA. This is a dog game. Rams have been and Seattle's been They're both okay, but nothing great. The Jets in Buffalo. Again, I think it's an under. I think the Jets are a strong dog in the game. I don't know, Zach Wilson. Why he's so bad. They beat him the first time in overtime, so maybe Buffalo by 3 or 4 points. Minnesota at Denver. This Denver should clean them out. Again, how strong is Joshua Dobbs? No, they haven't played yet tonight. We got to see. Hopefully, they don't have any injuries. But you want to trust Joshua Dobbs and 10 points at Denver. In the cream of the crop, Philly and Kansas City. This should be an over game, and I like the dog here. If you give me Philly as the dog, I like it. If you give me KC as the dog, I really like it. So that's week 11. I don't have all the college games because I ran out of paper, so I can only go through this. I don't have a printer at home, so I do that. You got MAC on Tuesday and Wednesday. BC at Pitt on Friday. South Florida, UTSA should be an over. Illinois, Iowa. Illinois, their quarterback was hot. So I don't know if the over-under is 28. I don't know what to do here. Baylor, TCU. Baylor's playing terrible. Minnesota, Ohio State. Ohio State's going to kill them. Cincinnati, West Virginia. West Virginia's going to kill them. Michigan against Maryland. Michigan's going to kill them. USC, UCLA, strong defense, no offense against an offense that we know. I don't know. UCLA is going to play them a game and be tough on them, but I think USC wins. Oklahoma, BYU, Oklahoma by 50. Michigan State, Indiana is good. Oregon, Arizona State. Oregon will be laying, 20? We'll see. Oregon needs the game. They lost to Washington. If they want to make the playoff, they have to win, so we'll see. Utah, Arizona. This should be a very low-scoring game. Utah, great defense. Arizona's been playing good defense. Utah did score on Washington, but Arizona's defense is better. I look for a low-scoring game here. Oak State, Houston. Let's see Oak State bounce back. Let's pray Houston's favorite in the game. Again, the problem is most people's memory goes back 1 week. So they only see Oak State getting killed by UCF, and they don't, so then they make Houston the favorite. If Houston's the favorite, this is my other end of my 35-unit lock. I'll take Oak State. Okay, they were flat after the Oklahoma win. Okay, I didn't think they would be. Now after losing, they're not going to be flat this week. New Mexico, Fresno State, a good over. Lou Monroe, Mississippi. Mississippi by 70. UL Monroe is a Z team as we know it. Rutgers, Penn State. Look for Penn State big after the loss to Michigan. Rutgers isn't bad. Their quarterback sucks. Too many turnovers. Louisville, Miami. I'm praying Miami's favor, but I doubt it. Louisville, then they're the A team. They got to win at Miami. Off the loss, played Florida State well. Should play Louisville well. If Van Dyke was quarterbacking, this would be a very live dog. Let's go. SMU, Memphis. SMU, probably an over there. Let's see. We got a lot of conference USA. App State, James Madison. There's a beautiful over. 2 strong offenses. Yeah, give me something in the 50s, please. UTEP Middle Scene, Kent and Ball. Look at this. The MAC team's playing on Saturday. Kent and Ball State. Hawaii at Wyoming. I don't know. Duke, Virginia. Duke is a good dog if we get him as a dog. Just a strong defense, well coached. Riley Leonard's out. Let's see what the backup, if he's playing. Texas State should run all over Art State. They're explosive. Nevada, Colorado State. Probably go over. Again, if we get a 50 on it, it's an over. If we get a 65 on it, we're not going over. We can't trust Nevada to score, but I think Colorado State is okay. What did Colorado State do last week? Colorado State, 22-19. Colorado State's not scoring. So scratch that one. Against Nevada, tease the dog. Lou Lafayette against Troy. Go Troy. Troy's been rolling right along. They'll kill him. NC State, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's been playing very well. North Carolina, Clemson. Clemson has been playing well. North Carolina barely escaped against Duke. Can they put up points against Clemson? Is this you can only play this game over or get North Carolina with more than 10. We'll see what that is. Wake Forest, Notre Dame. Notre Dame should win big. I heard Jesus was going to that game. Vegas Air Force. Air Force quarterback got lost. I like Vegas here as a big dog, if that's the spread. If Air Force's quarterback's out, I definitely like Vegas. Georgia, Tennessee. First line I saw was Georgia -8. That's 34 of the 35 unit lock right there. Georgia State will destroy them, or Georgia. Well, Georgia State might too. That's what you're looking for, Georgia. Right off, it's Notre Dame and Georgia are the. Now again, I don't have a line, so I'm only looking at it. But I did see the line on the Georgia 8.5. I would get that in before too long because it won't stay at 8.5. I don't think. This is where the big defense kills the big offense. And the thing with Georgia is they power run you to death, and they sack your quarterback. So it doesn't matter how emotional the crowd is or how good a quarterback you got. He doesn't have time. He goes back, and there's the Georgia safety in his face, and that's the problem. So you can't score, but then Georgia power runs you. Good quarterback, good offense, and you can't defend it. When they power run you, you're helpless. There's nothing you can do. And Tennessee doesn't have that defense. New Mexico State against Auburn. Oh my God! As much as I'd like to take New Mexico State here, Auburn's starting to score. So let's see how many points we're getting. UCF T-Tech. Could be an over. T-Tech didn't score much on Kansas last week. I don't know what happened in that game. They were running the ball a lot on Kansas too. Very strange game. UCF, they blow out Oak State, and then they'll get 3 points against Texas Tech. So that's why I like the App State James Madison. They don't do that shit. They score 50 points. And I got to fill in page 2. So that's a look ahead at next week. So I purposely don't put lines in because I'm trying to feel the teams. I'm trying to feel what I think the spread should be. Then when we get San Diego. I had San Diego a 7-point favorite over Detroit. They made Detroit the favorite. The bells and whistles go off going, no. San Diego's a 7-point favorite. You've got the wrong team favored. And they did. They shouldn't have had the Lions 3 points. I know it went down to 2.5. I don't know if it went to 2. But that was a bad spread. It pushed, right? Detroit won by 3. But it was a bad spread. Why would you make San Diego home dog against Detroit? Really? It should have been San Diego -3. It should have been the point spread. So we got a bad spread. So we just made a fortune on San Diego yesterday, getting the 9, or I had it at 7.5 initially because I said, they're going to realize they made the mistake, and then San Diego's going to be a 1.5-point favorite. And as it turned out, it went from 1.5 to 3, and I'm like, okay, I'm in at 1.5. Then I made a later bet getting the 9 going, well, but yeah, I thought it's crazy. But in the pros, it's like I'm undervaluing Houston and Jacksonville a little bit too much. I might be overvaluing Seattle. I might be I'm right on with Denver and the Jets. I'm right on with them. I think I've nailed the Jets every week, but the last one when San Diego beat them, which I couldn't understand. I'm right on. Kansas City is not an over team anymore. And so that's the critical part. I think San Diego is clearly an over. San Diego, Miami are the over teams. I remember locking the over when they played earlier, and it went to like 75 points. So that's why it's critical to know the type of team. The good defensive team like the Jets pulls the upsets because they can stop you. And then if you give them a turnover or they get lucky and score a touchdown, they win the game. I mean, they were good yesterday getting 4.5, but I liked the under better. I liked it enough to lock it, right? Tampa Bay, Frisco will murder them. See, Frisco lost 3 in a row. Then they got the win. Now they got the confidence back. Now they're going to go on a roll. They're not losing at home to Tampa Bay, right? That's not going to happen. Maybe to, Philadelphia, Kansas City, okay, Cincinnati. But see, Joe Burrow, I'll give you credit, Bobby. Him and Mahomes are the best quarterbacks in the league. They can beat you anytime. You take them as a dog every time.
That's why I took him against the Niners. He was the dog. He gets the win. They know the line. They get pissed. You don't piss off Joe Burrow and, Mahomes whenever he's the dog. I think Buffalo has Kansas City and Philadelphia coming up. Get ready to bet Kansas City and Philadelphia. See, people around Buffalo and they don't know what they're doing. You lost to Jacksonville, who's not good. Then you barely beat the Giants 15-9 or 15-7. You've got to smell what they're cooking. They're not playing well. They're not doing well. So you've got to realize that. Like I say, Mississippi State, all of a sudden they're not scoring. Baylor is having problems offensively. Kansas State killed them. So you've got to be aware of what's going on. All right. So that's basically, what did we learn? College, we're still, wait a minute, they're an over team. They didn't score. What happened? Kansas quarterback got hurt in the first quarter. Air Force's quarterback got hurt in the first quarter. That's how we lost those two games. That's why that's why you got to bet your bankroll. You do not know, you do not know, it's not guaranteed because of the injury in pro football. Basketball is a little easier. Very rarely do you get the injuries you get in football, where the guy gets knocked out of the game and hurts his knee or hamstring and he's out for a month. You don't get that in basketball too often. So with that said, that's why you can't just bet your whole bankroll on, we're going to play Air Force in a teaser, and oh shit, what happened? They lost to Hawaii. How? Well, the quarterback got hurt. Oh, that's how critical the quarterback is. But that's what you have to understand. That's why you bet the percentage of the bankroll and build the bankroll. And if we bet 10 games, we might win 10, we might win 9, we might win 8, usually 7 at the worst. But in there's the quarterback getting injured. All right, we lost Kansas, we lost Air Force, we hit Alabama, Michigan under, Ohio State under, Georgia, Oklahoma over, the Boise over, the San Jose over. So you can see we've hit most of the games played out to the expected outcome, but the 2 games that didn't were because the quarterback got injured. Okay, well, that's part of it. When you bet, you have a chance the quarterback can get hurt. Look at Joe Burrow's been banged up this year. So you understand that, and you go, okay, that's the risk factor. Will we survive the game without an injury? Right? I keep getting my quarterback injured. I've never seen anything like it. 3 or 4 of the games, my quarterback keeps getting injured. I'm like, what the fuck? But then when the other team's quarterback gets injured, it hurts me. There was that game a couple weeks ago and lights it up. How come my backup doesn't do that? I don't remember the game, but it was a pro. Anyway, so I get this really strange email. Let's switch to anything else on football, betting, anything. Let me know. I'm going to turn to let's see, gold price today. So you look how it gets hammered at 10 o'clock, and then look when it goes up right after 10. 1945, again, the paper price. Again, I bought 2 quarter ounces of gold on Friday. I don't even look at the price. I mean, I see 1945. He charged me $5.50. I'm like, I don't even care. I get the 2 ounces. I showed you the alligator video that I found Saturday yesterday. And I wrote this comment on Alligator's thing.
As owner of Mint Mobile, I always want to find ways to save you money. So let's meet the barely paid spokesman.
Both Brian and Ms.
Here's this guy. He says he lost 70 grand. I'll read it to you. Exchange that went belly up. I was just stupid to hold, and because that's what everyone said. I'm still responsible. It just taught me to be a better investor. Now that I understand more of what could go wrong, it took me over 2 years of being in the market. Oh, a whole 2 years, huh? I'm really grateful I found one source to recover my money at least. I don't know what the hell. All right. Here's my comment on Alligator. And let me blow it up because, yeah, there you go. There's my comment on Alligator. So I will read it. Alligator is wrong about gold. He doesn't understand the gold price is set by the paper derivative market, not the free physical price. So when asked about gold future value, the question is, when will it go to its real physical value? He answers fiat losses, value gold doesn't go up. I must have spelled something wrong. He answers fiat loses value. I missed the word. Gold doesn't go up. He's wrong. Oh, he says fiat loses value, gold doesn't go up. So in other words, he keeps saying when it's really not gold going up, it's the dollar dropping. That's what I would said here. I said he's wrong. Gold will be worth a lot more once COMEX and LBMA London gets blown up by Putin. I estimate gold's 25 to 50,000 conservatively, silver 2 to 5. Not sure why he misses this simple question, the professor. So when asked, Alligator, they go, when's the gold price going to go up? He says, well, it's not gold going up, it's the paper price going down. He's missing that. He doesn't understand the gold price is set by the paper derivative market. So as the value of the dollar is going down, gold is not going up because it's held back by the paper price. He's not getting that. He keeps saying, well, it's not gold going up. Gold doesn't go up. And I'm going, but this isn't gold's price. This is the question he doesn't get. No, you're wrong. If it was at a free market, a free marketplace, bidders and sellers, if it was like this, okay, how much will you give me for it? Okay, somebody's willing to give me $100. Here's your bottle. That's free market. That's an auction. But he doesn't get it. Well, wait, it's in paper. It's a derivative price for gold, not the real price. He doesn't get that. So the problem is he keeps saying it's not gold going up. Well, in this case, it is because it's not at physical. So in other words, if you would have just left it at physical, if you would get the physical price at 2,000 and it was the real price, then you would be right. It isn't going up. The value of the dollar is dropping. Because the value of the dollar is dropping and gold isn't going up, your statement is wrong and misleading. It is the gold will go to its physical price. So he's lost in physical paper. He doesn't understand it. So, he looks stupid because he says, well, it's not gold going up. It is gold going up because gold is not priced. The $2,000 is not correct. Gold should be about 25 to 50,000. Gold will be worth a lot more once COMEX and LBMA get blown up by Putin. I estimate gold's 25 to 50,000 and silver 2 to 5. That's the real value. So it's going to go up because it's going to hit its physical price. No, it isn't. That's the question he's getting answered that he doesn't answer.
He's getting asked, but doesn't know how to answer it. So yes, gold will go up in value because it's being priced in paper. So once it hits its normal price, let's say it goes to 50,000, gold will still go up as any other commodity. There's no difference in gold and whiskey or gold in my Mahomes card. So you're saying that the Mahomes card doesn't go up in value, just the dollar goes down? No, this goes up based on demand. He wins another Super Bowl. This goes from $5,000 to 20 grand. There's only 50 of them. So this goes up because he wins another Super Bowl. The demand pushes the price up. Well, why wouldn't it do it for gold? Of course, the demand will push the price up. That's the whole point of the market. So I wanted to share that with you. Really, there's nothing too much new in the let's see other comments. What is great about Alligator is that he is politically neutral and is only biased in logical thinking. You know, he's not an Austrian. See, Alligator comes across and everybody just thinks he's the man. But not sure. Anyway, so I did a check on the dollar. So I get an email that says the dollar is going to be recalled. So I go on and so I check it out. Is the U.S. government planning to recall the dollar? And the answer is quite simply no. The U.S. government isn't planning to recall the dollar. This is as of September 11th, 2023. The U.S. government isn't planning to recall. Here's what we can verify about a CBDC and FedNow. So there is not going to be a CBDC anytime soon. So stop your worrying. This is September 11th. I guess this is a YouTube thing, so we're not going to listen. So because, again, the banks own the government has to vote for it, basically, which they won't do because the banks will put themselves out of business. So the banks will never vote to eliminate themselves. And the government will never vote against the banks because the banks are the ones giving them all the money to run and when they're elected to give them all the favors. This is the problem with the system that we have now. It's too corrupt. So that was one thing. The second thing is I was looking at inflation. What is it and how it can be? And see, they keep calling it the purchasing power of money and how it changes, but they're not calling that inflation. What is inflation? And it starts off with inflation is a rise in prices. And I immediately go, what the fuck are you talking about? So inflation is the rising prices, which I'll let you read a little of it.
So inflation is a rise in prices, which can be translated as the decline of purchasing power over time. It's got nothing to do with the rise in prices. It's printing the money. They miss the most basic concept of inflation. You've inflated the money supply. It's made it worth less, and therefore prices maybe go up if the market, us, is willing to pay more for it. It's got nothing to do with that. They want to charge more because it takes more. So if the dollar loses its value, it takes more dollars to buy, let's say the whiskeys with no inflation. If this is gold, maybe it's $10. We got money, and as they print more money, it takes more money to get to the $10. It now takes $20 to buy the $10 bottle because the value of the dollar shrunk. That's inflation, period. You printed more money. The money's worth less. So I need more money to get the same $10 out of you that I did before. The rate at which purchasing power drops can be reflected in the price increase of a basket of selected goods. Again, no, it's the market. The rise in prices, which is often expressed as a percentage, means that a unit of currency effectively buys less. It's the money is worthless. See, they don't understand it and they don't explain it. That's why I'm here. It is not a rise in prices. That is not that's the effect of inflation, because the dollar's worth less. Inflation is that the dollar's worth less by printing it. That's it, period. All the pricing is based on the market. It has got nothing to do with it. Then we get to the bottom of this. Inflation can be contrasted with deflation. As soon as I hear that in a word, I know this is a Keynesian article and I don't want to hear it anymore. Deflation occurs when prices decline and purchasing power increases. Purchasing power does not increase. In other words, what they're saying is if the price drops, you can buy more with your dollar. Purchasing power didn't increase. Once you've inflated the dollar, deflation is based on the market. It's based on, there's no such thing. It's, I want okay, I'm getting $100 for it, and now people don't have money. They're not going to spend 100. I got to lower this to 75, right? That was my thing. What were we talking about the other day about prices? Was it Chinese? Where where was it? Where basically you're spending your money over here, so you have less money to buy other things. I can't think of what we were talking about. Where the hell was I? Anyway. The point is, as costs go up because the dollar loses the value because it's being inflated, as the price goes up, as the dollar loses value and it takes more dollars to buy the same goods, you have less dollars to buy other goods. God, I wish I would remember what I was talking about. Anyway, so you don't, therefore, you have less money because the things you need to buy, avocados and whiskey and Coke and chicken, cost more. Your wages aren't up, so you're making $100 a week, but the 100 doesn't buy anything anymore, right? You used to go to the grocery store with $100. It would cost you $50 to fill your cart. Now it costs you $100 to get the same groceries. Wait, I think it was at the gas station. Yeah, we're talking about the chocolate pies. No, that's a different thing. Anyway, so you have less money. You can't just create. Oh no, it was the jewelry. That's what it was. Okay, so I'm at my gold store, and the guy says I can't sell jewelry, and I'm like, yeah, because it costs more for other things. And jewelry is a want, not a need. You don't need a bracelet or a gold chain or that to live. You don't need it. It's a want. And therefore you have less money. So if everything costs more, you have less money on you. So you're not going to go buy these wants. That's what it is. I knew I'd come up with it. So yeah, this is Friday. I knew it was just a few days ago. So anyway, you then so what happens is, as you have less money, that's what causes the recessions and everything. So the inflation is strictly making, it doesn't make, it makes the price wanting to get the same value. So if it's $10 and now there's inflation, you start charging 12 because your costs have gone up. And so at 12, maybe you buy it, maybe you don't. But you might buy food, but you're not going to buy jewelry. And so what happens is the prices have gone up only if we allow it to go up, which means we might not allow it to go up. We might say, you know what, I'm not going to buy that New York strip. $10, I'll buy it. You want 16 for it? I'm not going to pay for it. I'll buy hamburger or chicken. I'll buy something else that I can eat. It's food. It's nice to get a New York strip, but I'll only go $10 on it. And so you get that. And that's what they don't understand. That's why you can't look at the price index for inflation. Well, look at the consumer price index. Look, the prices of things have gone up. That's inflation. It's not inflation. Inflation is strictly the dollar having value, right? It buys less. You printed too much. It takes more dollars. Now it takes you $15, not $10 to buy a Coke. And the point is that you can't measure inflation because prices have gone up or down as a basket of goods, because it doesn't matter. That's not, because the market controls prices. That's it, not the dollar. So when they say deflation, prices coming down makes the dollar purchasing power go up, the guy's out of his fucking mind. The purchasing power didn't go up because prices went down. In theory, you can buy more, maybe. Okay, so this is, so if this is $50, inflation hits, I want to sell it for 100. Market want to lower it. So now I've lowered it back to 50. Can you purchase more because this price has gone down? Does that make this worth more? No. This is independent. What I sell this for is independent about the inflation and the purchasing power. You've printed this, it's worth 2 cents. It's worth 1 cent. 99 cents out of the dollar is gone. Okay. So that's why a Coke costs you $3 now, where it would cost you 10 cents if you watch these older movies. So the fact I lower the price on this does not make this worth more. This has gone down, but this is independent. You printed this to nothing. It's worthless. Regardless of prices going up or down, it doesn't matter. You've printed this and you can't stop it. This is worthless. This is really worth zero, but people don't realize it. So I can still go to the store and buy stuff with it. It's the biggest Ponzi scheme I've ever seen, and nobody knows about it except for you guys. That's what's happening, right? So if prices go down, so they think deflation is they're letting the air out of the balloon, but it's not. The dollar, you're not unprinting the dollar. If you printed $10 trillion, well, you still printed $10 trillion. It's not like now you've only printed 9 trillion because prices are coming down. The only reason prices come down is I can't sell it.
So let's take it back to the meat counter. You want New York strip, it's $10. Now it went up to 15. Is that inflation? No, not at all. Inflation is the money being worth less. So the money's worth less. The butcher wants to get the inflated dollar for his steaks. So he wants to charge you 15, but the market says, I'm not going to give you 15. I'm not going to do it. He lowers it to 10. Did this get better in value? No, it's got nothing to do with it. You still printed 10 trillion of these, so they still have no value. They didn't all of a sudden get value because the price of steak went down or the price of Canadian Club went down. Did not make this more valuable. This has no value. Let's say this is worth 1 cent. And so the steak goes from $15 to 10. Is this worth 2 cents now? No, it's still worth 1 cent. It hasn't gone up in value. This whole deflation thing is bullshit because the prices have independent on the dollar and the prices are part of the market. What can I sell this for? How much can I sell this for, right? I can sell it for 75. That's the market. If I try for 90, nobody buys it. I got to go back to 75 because that's what the market says. So if I go from 75 to 90, it's not inflation. And if I go from 90 back to 75, it's not deflation. It's what will the market allow me to sell it at? It's got nothing to do with the dollar. It's what the market will. And in fact, it's worse because if it takes me more dollars to buy it, then I have less dollars to buy other things. And that's when the market that's what causes your depression. Costs go up, which more people have to lay off people, which is what's happening now. And you're laying off people, and then therefore there's less people in the market to buy, right? Well, I'm not making my 100 grand, so I can't buy this, that, and the other. I got to cut my buying down as these people get laid off. Now they're living on unemployment at a few $100 a week instead of a few thousand a week. So they cut their spend. Again, you don't go to your wants. You only go to your needs. I need milk and eggs and bread and chicken and avocados. I need food. I need the utilities. I need gas in my car. That's what I need. And that's what you put your money to. And if those prices have gone up, then the inflation. I just went and got gas. I paid $3.17. It was down a dime from a couple weeks ago. Does that mean it's deflation? No, it means people don't have enough money to buy gas. They're not working, so the demand for gas has gone down. So at $3.30, nobody's buying gas, so they lower the price to get you into it. Otherwise, why not just sell gas at $20 a gallon if it's not a problem? Because people can't afford it and they won't buy it. Or they'll find a cheaper gas. I mean, I don't go to the closest gas stations, $3.44. I drove 5 miles away for $3.17. So 30 cents, let's say 30 cents a gallon cheaper, a gallon. So yeah, you can see why that's what you do. You substitute, you go to other places, and that's what happens. So I noticed that, and see, as soon as I see the word deflation, it's Keynesian, right? As soon as I saw that, Keynesian. Then I think there was something else. So we know they're not recalling the dollar. This is September. They're not ready for digital currency. However, they will come out with US dollar 2, which I asked. They said, well, in 2025, they'll come out with a new 10 and a new 20 and a new 5. And we're coming out with new dollars, but they won't say it's a recall. Anyway. Thought there was something else.
The Bank of China in a hurry to buy gold. I think I've already showed you that. Let's see. Banks are about to go under again. So you can just see that, you know, these are the articles I looked at for that. So basically, there's just way too much printing. And again, I would not buy life insurance. I would buy gold. I would not listen to as I showed you that one thing with the guy losing 70 grand because he didn't understand the game. He goes to a advisor or stockbroker and he says, buy these stocks, and the stocks go down because the economy is shit. But they don't tell him they don't explain the game. Oh yeah, after 3 innings, after 3 outs, we change. You then go out to the field, and then after 3 outs, you go bat. That's the game. But they're not explaining that. So the guy just thinks that he hits. Oh no. After 3 outs, you go in the field. So he doesn't understand when to get in and out of the market, nor that he should be in the market, nor that he should be in gold. It's not explaining to him. Now he stumbles on as good as gold Australia, and then he realizes he needs to buy gold. So he's starting to learn the game, which is what I'm teaching you. So you get into the gold because they can't this $1 is worth 1 cent now. All right, $100 is worth $1. They can't do that to gold. Gold can never go down. Now, what Alligator says is, you know, it's not the gold. The ounce is the ounce. The value doesn't change. It's the dollars going down in value that changes, that makes the gold price go up. In a physical world, he's right. In a paper world, he's wrong. And this is what he doesn't get. But anyway, so the demand for the gold will go up, but it can't go down. It can't go to zero because you can't print it. The reason the dollar has no value, and the yen and the euro, the reason they have no value, they're being printed to death because the people in charge are Keynesians, and the Keynesians believe in printing the dollar. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Austrian. I found something on Austrian economics. See, if you go in here, there's Austrian economics debunked, Austrian economics versus Keynesian, Austrian School of Economics belief, Austrian school. So they don't really like, because the government and all the political bullshit and the banks are Keynesian. In other words, they just want to print money. So they're going, oh yeah, I'd like to, let's go print $1 million or $1 billion. Let's just go print it, and we'll keep it for ourselves. And there'll be no problem. It won't lose value if we do it. This is their thought process. So that's why everybody's Keynesian. If you have a gold-backed currency, you can't. You can only print as much currency as you have gold. I don't know that it's 100%, but it's probably like 50%, because you don't need to you have faith in your system because it's backed by gold. Because you can't print gold. There's so much, 244,000 tons of gold. That's it. Can't print any more. There's much more than 244,000 tons in demand. Let's say there's 1 million tons of gold in demand. It's never zero, and you can't print it and inflate it. That's what's beautiful about gold, and everybody likes it. So you're safe in gold. Again, it's an investment that you can't lose. There's zero risk, and it's going to go up once you get rid of the stupid paper. And that's been that's the ploy, that's the Ponzi scheme that the U.S. government, this, J.P. Morgan, all the presidents, everybody in government, this is the lie they've been telling you. And it's really sad. These are our leaders. Well, not my leaders. I only have one leader, the professor. But what do? They lie to you about the dollar. They keep the gold price down. Why are you doing that? Well, just in case you're buying gold, you won't buy it. But we won't tell you it's a paper price. You all have to figure that out on your own. So you don't realize that derivatives are keeping the price down. You think nobody wants it. So why would I buy it? It's not going to go up in value. And my goal is to get rich and invest and make money. So I'm going to go into the stock market, which is dollars, and they make commission on it. But they don't know how to make commission off of gold. So it's not part of the game. So that's really what the issue is with gold. I'm not going to buy it. Hey, Greg and John. What's up? So I'm not going to buy it because it doesn't do anything. And I want to get rich. And I'm not going to get rich buying gold. It doesn't seem to move. Why isn't it moving? Because it's paper derivatives. It's fixed. The government's keeping the price down. Oh, well, that's not good. Why are they allowing that? So all these Madoffs can get away stealing the money because they can print as much as they want. And they don't realize that there's a value to that and a problem with it, that it will lose its value. They don't get that. We do. So with that said, it's the biggest scam in the world because they lie to you that gold has no value. They lie to you that the dollar has a value. This is worthless. This does not have a value. Now, the key will be good God, the explanations they use. All right, what's the difference between Keynesian and Austrian economics? Austrian economists believe in sound money. Convertible currency was backed by gold or other all assets. And why is that? Otherwise, you print it. Keynesian economists support fiat currencies, which can be manipulated by central banks to adjust the money supply and stabilize the economy. How does printing money stabilize the economy? What's wrong with that picture? See, they make this shit up, but they don't explain it. Printing the money kills the value of the dollar. That's basically what's Keynesian, right? It just said, what did I just read? Is Keynesian economics socialism or capitalism? In the context of socialism, Keynesian economics can be used to implement policies associated with equality and social justice.
I mean, here's my basics thing. What is the argument of Austrian economics? Economic decisions should be made by individuals rather than the government or any other central authority. Austrian view the market as the best mechanism for allocating resources and coordinating economic activity. So Keynesians basically it's communism, and Austrian is free market. Austrian is me and you choosing to buy Canadian Club. It's down to our level. We determine the market. And Keynesian it's basically communism. They're going to control the market. The government will control the market, not us. That's why it doesn't work. It never works. It can't work. It's been proven wrong. And that's why this whole deflation bullshit and this whole inflation theory that we can print as much money as we want and it won't have a harm. This is what they don't quite understand. They think, well, we'll control the economy. We'll just print more money or print less money or whatever and get unemployment to a certain percentage. And they're out of their fucking minds, basically. So that's what we're fighting. So when Greg and John ask, well, what are we waiting for? When will the dollar blow up, or when will this happen and that happen? This is who we're fighting. We're fighting the Keynesians, the communists, who want the free money. They want to print money and put it in their pockets. We sit there and go, oh, we'll take gold, and then gold will go up, and they're fighting to keep the gold price down with these derivatives. But once the Pandora boxes, once the gold hits a certain price of the silver, the cat's out of the bag and off you go. So that's my thing. And when I go to different countries, like if I go to Turkey, if I went to Russia or Ukraine, Romania, I would get a big boost on their dollar. The dollar's worth a lot more than their dollar. And so when I go, I get a nice, $100 dinner, and divided by 4, I'm paying 25. Like, oh, I can eat here all the time. So that's the big difference. So when you start hearing the words deflation, when they don't talk about gold properly, they're Keynesians, they're communists, and just get up and leave, because you can't really argue with them because they think they're right, or even if they know they're wrong, they are in on the, it's like arguing with Madoff. Well, Madoff, how did you pick this one? I'm good. I'm really good. And how are you going to argue with him to get to the point where he's just running a scam? So how can you argue with people like that? So that's why you can't argue Keynesian. If you meet a Keynesian or you go to a bank or a stockbroker, it's extremely difficult to argue with them because they're going to want you in the Keynesian communistic game. So there's two games. There's a crap game. There's two crap games. One, you 7-out lose, and the other one, maybe you get better odds. They don't want you in the better odds. They want you in the, so there's normal odds and subnormal odds, two crap games. They want you in the subnormal one. They don't want you in the normal odds one. That's the difference. And anyway, so that's what we really have going. And that's why the war, if we allowed gold to be just like the Canadian Club, or if we allowed, for some reason, this is okay because this isn't money. So this can be free market. This can be free market. I got to watch my shoulder. This is free market. Whatever we put it on the grocery shelf, whatever somebody buys, that's fine. You're going to buy the product. You're not going to buy a derivative. But for some reason with gold, because it's money and because it competes with the dollar, we've got all this smoke and mirrors, paper gold, paper silver, bullshit. And that's really the problem with it. So please be careful. Again, Austrian is freedom. Keynesian, MMT is communism. You don't want communism. You want to be free to do what you want. Look at everybody fighting back on the digital dollar.
they don't want to be controlled. Well, you're being controlled by the money because the Keynesians, communists, are controlling it. So that's why we're already a communist country, but people don't know it. They don't call it, so you don't think you are. I remember arguing with this guy in Barcelona, Jenna's girlfriend, Natasha, and then her boyfriend, whatever his name is. And I said, well, the U.S. is already communist. He says, I disagree with that. And I go, I don't care. I'm not telling you to agree or debate it. This is what's happening. We are being controlled. The money's fucked. This is what's happening. And that's why, like, Venezuela has so much inflation. They're communists. Then they come out with a new currency, but they don't back it by gold. So they come out with 10 new currencies, and each one lasts a couple of months, and the inflation goes up. Because, again, the inflation is the dollar losing value. So even if you replace the dollar with a new dollar, you're still losing value because it takes, since you're printing more, there's less value in the dollar. It takes more dollars to buy the goods and service. If the economy allows it. So keep that in your mind. You want the dollar backed by gold. They have a stable dollar. Otherwise, you're fucked. Right? It's like you need a good quarter. You need a good quarterback, right? You got a weak quarterback, and your team doesn't have a chance. You know, you got Danny DeVito. How many games are you going to win? And what's with them showing the families of the quarterbacks? Here's the DeVitos. I was watching another game. There's this guy's family. That who gives a fuck? Oh my god! And then quickly with football, enough with the penalties. There's always penalties, but you don't call every one. And it's ridiculous that they call every one. There's certain times to call them and certain times to not. Like I said, if the pass is going to the guy and he's being held, you call it. If the pass is on the other side of the field and the guy's being held, you don't call it. It's not part of the play. The pass is going there. Why are you calling it? This is the problem with the refs. There's way too much penalty. I think they're doing it on purpose as part of like socialism to control us. We see the authoritarian figure calling all these fouls to get you prepared that, oh, you did something wrong. They're going to do something, so that's my mindset. Anyway. Oh, Daria's making me an old man. I heard from her, your take on this. So I hear from her Thursday. My sister's going in for whatever. And, can you pay the rent on Thursday? I said, sure, no problem. I'm getting my check probably Friday. I look at my bank. I already got my check. It came a week early. Oh, okay, nice. So I give her the money. Oh, thank you. I love you. Da, 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 da. And then I don't hear from her from Thursday. I don't hear from her. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, like 4 days. I see she's on. I'm texting her. So the question I'm asking is, from my class, what the fuck's going on? Does she only text me when she needs money? When she needs rent or food, then I'm getting the text, and then I don't need you the next 5 days, so I won't talk to you. I got better things to do. I'm busy with my daughter. What's going on there? Because I'm like, she was fine before, and then all of a sudden she's a little bit busy, probably with the daughter, but she doesn't tell me that, right? She's not communicating. I'm really, like, she tells me I'm checking over my daughter's homework, but like, I'll go, where are you? You can tell me, are you out with friends? I mean, and then on the other converse, Jenna says, I'm going out I'm meeting a friend girl for a drink. And I go, oh, okay. So she tells me, and then, I always, in the morning, there's Jenna with the text, and then off we go. So I don't get Daria lately. I'm sure she's busy. Now, there's two things. Now, I don't believe she's with anybody else, and I believe she loves me. I don't disbelieve any of that, or she's with somebody else. I just think she might not be a texter. She's Russian. She says, you're not like the Russian guys. Well, what does that mean? So maybe the Russian guys they don't care about the girls. They don't want to be bothered with text. So maybe she doesn't text me because she never texts them. I don't know. So that's where I'm at with her. I'm like, I says, it's okay if you're with somebody else. Just tell me so I know you're okay. I'm not stupid. She's good looking and she's in Russia and I'm here. So I don't expect her to just sit at home. I expect her that she's going out, but she will say once in a while, I'm meeting a friend for tea, or I'm taking out my daughter for pizza or something. But it's a little frustrating because I don't know what it is. It's sort of like doing this. You get that high. Oh, good. Look, I got a text from Daria today. And like when I get from Jenna, and it makes you feel good. I don't know. I'm struggling with it. Is it I feel rejected? Is it I am worried she's with somebody else, which I'm really not. We're planning Turkey. She said she went to get her passport last week. So I'm asking her what happened with the passport. Do you have it already, or is it going to take a month? When should I plan Turkey? Now she does want to go. I sent her 2 videos of Istanbul and I think it's Alasha or something, another city in Turkey, one more on the river, on the Mediterranean. That's a very nice place. I said, why don't we go to that one? She says, I'll check the videos out. So I'm pretty sure we'll go. Once we meet, that'll be a whole different ballgame. See, Jenna, I've met 4 or 5 times, so she understands. So she texts me every day. Daria, I don't know where she's at. See, I guess she's busy. And maybe this is like, if I text you, boom, 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 I love you. I'm there, so you don't worry about it. So she doesn't feel like she has to text me. But she used to text me a lot with a lot of different stuff. So it's just things have changed a little. And I know she's busy with the daughter and homework and busy. She says at work, I can't text. They don't allow it. And it's Russia, so I understand that. Although when she needs rent money, she can text at work. So once in a while she can text. It depends what it is. But I've had Carmen was like that. My Romanian, she would text when she needed money, and then she'd say thank you and the I love you, and then I wouldn't hear from her until she needed more money or she needed something. So I wonder if that's normal then. So I need something, I'll ask Howard. But if I don't need something, I don't see but that might be she's young, she's Russian, and I'm not like the Russian guy. So and then I'll get the text from her and then I'll feel all good. And it's just amazing how it makes you feel when you get the text and when you don't get the text. And I don't know why I'm like losing my mind when I'm not. I don't think if it's a day, but it's been like 4 or 5 days. And I think what goes on in my mind is I'm going, what the fuck? Why aren't you? It takes all of, it takes all, like you guys writing the text. Greg is on. Thanks for the pick, TK. Sir, I mean, how long did it take him? 10 seconds to write that. So that's what I don't understand. All she has to do is say, hi, how are you? Write a few texts for 30 seconds. How do you not have 30 seconds to do that? That's what goes through an INFJ mind is I don't understand. But when you need rent or food, you have the time to do that. When you don't, is it because you don't need anything? You don't want to bother me? I tell her I would like your text a lot. So I don't really know, but I keep texting her. I think I got to be myself, and I'm not going to take it too personal that she doesn't text me by not texting her saying, oh, I'll give you a part of your own medicine. I won't text you for a week. You see how it feels. I did that with Jenna when we got back from Barcelona and she left early to walk the dog. I didn't talk to her for a couple of days. She says, what, are you not going to talk to me anymore? And I sent her a voice message, said, what the fuck did you leave early for? And then she said, don't ever talk to me that way again. And I said, okay, but don't ever, you can't, if I go on a vacation to meet you in Europe, I'm going on a vacation to meet you in Europe. You can't leave early. Now I'm sitting in Europe,
I would go to Amsterdam if I want to be alone. So I don't really get that whole thing. But she was like she said, "What, are you not going to text?" So she texts me every day or every other day, but I don't understand. And then I'll say something to her, then she'll text me a couple of days, and then again, this is all 5 days, and I don't, it's like, okay, you go home from work, text me, or I think she takes the subway, so maybe there's no internet on the subway. I don't know. I've never been to St. Petersburg on the subway, but I know coming back when you get home, send me a text. This is the part I can't. And when I meet her, I'll ask her, like, what the fuck? It takes 3 seconds just to text. So that's when you wonder, is she serious or not? But I don't think she'd introduce me to the daughter if she wasn't. You don't bring in the family if you're like, oh, I just want rent money, so I'm going to say all these nice things, but I don't really mean it. I don't think she's doing that. She might be doing it, but I don't think she is. I don't get that from her. And I never got, oh, don't text me. See, when I'm mad at Carmen, I block her. She asks for money. I said, right now I'm not working. I don't have money for you. It's all in gold. And then she's expecting money. Then she starts bitching at me for not giving her money. And I says, I told you I wasn't going to give you money. So she starts getting crazy. I block her. But I'm not getting blocked from Daria, but I'm not, I'm saying, well, are you okay? What's going on? So anyway, I don't need that stress. And I don't know why I'm so stressed. I don't understand it, but I think it's a mechanism of me being not getting the reciprocation back, being ignored, I think is what it is. Wait a minute, I'm saying hello. Why aren't you saying hello, right? You've ever had that where you say hi to somebody and they don't say hi back? You get a little pissed. Well, with the girl, it would be like waking up and you text your daughter, hi, and how are you today? And you don't hear from her for 5 days. And you're like, what the fuck? Why aren't you responding? Oh, I'm busy, You're not important to talk to. So it's almost like that. It's either A, she's real busy, or B, she's with somebody else, which I don't care. I can't, that's what I don't understand. And, Jenna says, she texts me in the morning. Now she doesn't work. That's the difference. Daria's worked 12-hour days in Russia, right? Plus transportation. So she's probably a 13-hour. She's exhausted when she gets home. She knows I love her, so she's probably not too worried about, oh, I got to text out. I got nothing to say. Just hi, how are you? He'll understand. That's probably what's going through him. Like you said, I'm used to the Russian guys. So I've asked her, what's a Russian guy versus me, to try to get the answer. And I keep trying to, can you explain why you can't text me for 5 days? So I keep saying, are you not alone? Because if you're not alone, maybe you can't text me. I don't know. Anyway, it's just, gets a little frustrating. But I'm trying to educate everybody, so I will get you those answers. But she will text me. Again, she's waiting on her tooth. She's got implants coming, and she'll need food money. So, and she works, and so she pays for food, but it's expensive in Russia, the inflation and everything. So I get that, and I help her. So we will see. So I'm sure I'll talk to her. Like when rent's coming, I know I'm going to talk to her. I think it happened the same thing last week. It was 4 or 5 days. And then I get so excited when she texts me, right? Human emotion is a pretty powerful thing, right? So, but I haven't gone out and not texted her for a week. The Stoics say that you should do that every once in a while so they value you, right? The key to friendship and, dating is making sure they realize how valuable you are to them
So if you don't talk to them, they'll miss you. Like what's happening here is I'm saying how valuable she is to me. And so if I don't talk to her, she then realizes my value. I assume she loves that I text her every day. Otherwise, she'd say don't. So I think that's the big key is she's not. But you should do that. You should not talk to somebody for a few days and let them realize your value. Because then when they don't hear from you, they don't know what to do. Anyway, so like I said, Jenna, no problem. She tells me I went to a birthday party. I said, go have a good time. I don't care that she goes like she's not going out on a date. She's going out with she said it was a girlfriend, had her birthday, and her husband was coming with. I said, I don't go enjoy. So she tells me that, and Daria does too. She said, I'm going to have tea with my girlfriend. I'm go enjoy. I know her family and her sister's getting the implant. I actually PayPal the sister, and she has a Russian bank and a U.S. bank. So I give her U.S. dollars because I can't send it to Russia. Then she goes to the Russian bank and sends us the money to Daria somehow. So, she has no reason to be upset with me. On the other hand, she can't wait to meet me in Turkey. We eat in St. Pete, but with the fucking war, we can't. So anyway, that's my frustration today. Anyway, I'm going to go update the stats. I'm going to then, get what teams are what, put the lines in, then put their lines, put the real lines in, and then go through the college, the last 5 or 6 games in conference to get their new totals. And most of them are pretty close. Alabama, we know. Georgia, the bigger teams, we don't, and I see enough of the Big Ten and the Pac-10. I study those pretty hard. So that really, it's more Conference USA, the MAC, because they play these, Michigan and Ohio States and get killed, and it skews up their thing. Anyway, so that's what I'll be doing. I'll be tomorrow, probably about 1. Hopefully I'll hear from that. All right. Well, have a good day. www.teaserking.com.